We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie, might teach you a thing or two.
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
If you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? It is Ben, Uncle Ben, America's favorite uncle, wrestling's punching bag, Rage Circus, and fucking Vegas. What is going on, everybody? We got a stacked show. It's very weird, almost kind of like unsettling being back because I've been so fucking busy this month, which never happens because I have no life. So it's incredible to know that, like yourself, my October was fucking stacked. So it's nice having a nice, quiet, dulled down, relaxing, and very fueled conversation episode. But before we get into all that, guys, Don, take it away, brother.
Well, let me just say this first off. I am glad that I have you this week here on the podcast because last week was an absolute disaster. XLRs just don't work with me. I don't know what it is, but we're back to the USB in our microphone, so we know everything's going to go according to plan. Don't have to do a last-minute live episode. So we got a great episode ahead of you guys this week. But before we get into all the juicy stuff, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already and you're listening to this week's episode of the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Give us a follow. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real.
Damn.
Well, Ben, I gotta ask you, how was your trip in Ohio?
Oh, kind of a blur. It was a really, really good time, brother. If any of you guys here that are a part of the We Are Wrestling podcast, obviously with being a wrestling fan, music goes hand in hand. If you guys are part of any kind of reactorverse, like to watch music reactions of all kinds, you probably know about the little reaction channel, and I say little with a big dick energy, Riker Road. I got to hang out. I had the pleasure of hanging out with them in Ohio at their home over the weekend. Great fucking people. Ohio is a blast. It just doesn't get any better than that, you know, being able to connect with so many amazing people that you met over doing something that you love and that you have a common goal with. So, I mean, it was cool shredding it down, singing some drunk campfire songs, just having kind of like the time of our lives and really kind of being able to mold worlds for a second for a cool little crossover. So it was really, really a beautiful experience, man.
Hell yeah, I love that for you. I'm glad that you had a good time out in Ohio.
My soul needed it. Yeah, my soul needed it for sure.
Well, over the weekend, last weekend, I got the opportunity to go to Create a Pro Wrestling, which the vlog will be coming out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. We are super behind on the vlogs because there's been a lot of adventures happening in the month of October, but it was a great time besides dealing with the traffic. Got to meet some We Are Wrestling Maniacs, even some best ones as well. Always a pleasure. Got to meet the Wanted Man, Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, and it was just overall a great experience, besides missing out on Alex Reynolds, which I'm sure I'll be talking a lot about that on my toy channel.
Well, I'm glad that you had a really good weekend. You know, it was fulfilling. You got to meet Mr. Ziggy, or as, you know, he's known now as his just regular name, Nick Nemeth. You know, it's always a cool time when you're able to take those little adventures for yourself and to be able to build on, like, already got, you know, more content for the channel, you know, a nice little getaway too, because, you know, nobody ever really thinks about that part of the content creation is the, you know, the nice travel in between, you know, if you're staying at a hotel, you know, how nice your stay was, you know, what you did on your off time. People don't really, you know, ask about that. So did you do anything like, you know, outside of, you know, the conventions and everything?
The only thing I really did was get myself some good old Long Island pizza, which is one of my highlights always going out there.
Guy.
Which is why I'm always convinced to just take the drive, even though it's so torturing. Like, the pizza
Bro,
is rewarding.
I'm not even
time.
gonna lie. I honestly love the way you live, man. I love that. That is some simple pleasures, man, that a lot of people overlook. That's just like, you know, I gotta get that slice of pizza, so you know we gotta go. You know, that's a good perspective on things, man. That's a very positive way to live, man.
Hell yeah. And it's going to be a busy month of November coming up. Which
Our birthdays.
Our birthdays, exactly. So there's a couple things I do want to share with the Maniacs. First off, so on Friday, November 1st and Saturday, November 2nd, myself and Casual Cam, we're going to be at Rhode Island Comic-Con. So if you do see us, come say what's up. We're going to be having a great time. We're going to be meeting some voice actors. We're also going to be meeting some wrestlers. Super excited. I'm going to be meeting one of my favorite actors, Sean William Scott, in American Pie. So I'm excited about that. Also, Fairly Odd
congrats,
Parents.
fucko.
Fairly Odd Parents, one of my favorite cartoons growing up.
Fairies!
Very
good parents!
And I'm also going to be meeting some wrestlers as well, getting some figures signed, just having a great time. Cam and I, we got a hotel out there, so we will be staying there overnight. So Friday, November 1st and the 2nd, Rhode Island Comic-Con, and then my birthday weekend, which my birthday, Friday, November 8th, and Saturday, November 9th, I will be out in Long Island, New York with my dad for the big event, New York.
Aren't we missing an event that I'm going to be co-hosting, live streaming for early for WWE? Is it Saudi?
Ooh, we're gonna get in there. We're gonna get to all the pay-per-views after we do our little IRL advertisements.
Our IRL advertisements. Gotcha. I was like, wait, we're going by dates, right?
So I will be at the big event New York. If you do see me, I will be wearing the We Are Wrestling Podcast shirt that you can actually get over on Pro Wrestling Tees. Which, oh man, how do you feel about the news? I don't even think the news came out when you were on the episode.
Yeah, no, it hadn't yet, dude. That's fucking wild to be in like the hall of so many greats, you know, with the, you know, their merch and everything. You know, it may seem like such a small thing because people are like, oh yeah, you know, there's people on fucking Pro Wrestling Tees. Like, bitch, do you understand what it took to do that though? Like, do you understand? It's not like
one of the biggest wrestling websites in the entire world,
dude. That's where like 99.5% of people go to get their merch if it's not directly from like an actual like merch booth or anything while they're there and during the tour. You know, it's a big deal for, you know, content creators to be in, again, the hall of merchandise of all of their favorites. You know, that is a big fucking deal. So like, it's small to other people, but man, dude, that's a bucket list for you know, wrestling content creators, man.
It was one of our goals when we started this podcast, and we finally got to achieve it, which is awesome. Well, I always tell the Maniacs, I always tell the best ones, hard work pays off. You just got to put in the work. But yeah, myself and my dad, we will be wearing We Are Wrestling Podcast shirts. So if you do see us in Long Island, New York, at the big event, New York, you guys can definitely come say what's up because I will be vlogging that entire adventure, and it's my birthday weekend. Then the week after that, we do have another special event happening on Saturday, November 16th, the Wrestling Classic 5. We have been advertising this event for the past couple of months. Myself, Ben, I believe Casual Cam, and Ricky Knows Best will be there. And I believe our old co-host on the podcast, Danny Huckins,
We're gonna have a lot of backup.
will also be vlogging for us as well, because I feel like when we do the vlogs ever since being vendors, it's always like on the back burner because we have so many things going on. We're meeting so many fans. And
Yeah.
we're also, for the first time ever, going to be bringing in an ECW legend, former Cruiserweight champion, Little Guido Nuncio. Another cool first time thing that we're doing. So we're going to be running around with their heads cut off during the Classic. So Danny, he will be recording it, giving you guys a awesome vlog for the We Are Wrestling channel.
Yep.
And then later on that night, we're going to be celebrating at Blitzkrieg Pro in Enfield, Connecticut.
What a
Oh,
fucking weekend.
man. It's going to be a really good time. But yeah, so
Oh,
3
man.
straight weeks, I'm going to be friggin' out and about. But now let's advertise the pay-per-views, the premier live events that we do have for watch-alongs. So on
November
Saturday,
2nd.
November 2nd, while I'm at Rhode Island Comic-Con, Ben and his buddy, I believe, will be doing a live watch-along here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel for WWE Crown Jewel. So if you are
that's
looking for
next
somebody to
weekend.
watch Crown Jewel with next weekend, Ben will be live here on the channel.
Yes,
and
I will.
then I believe on let's see here, November 16th, I think it's that Saturday, AEW Full Gear. I'll be doing a live watch along here on the We Are Wrestling channel. I'm sure Ricky Knows Best will be with me as well.
Yep.
Because he does love his AEW stuff just like me. We're the only two. We're the minority here on We Are Wrestling. But
That's
of
because
course,
AEW made it
we
that way.
have
Sorry.
the biggest watch along of the month in November, and that is Survivor Series on November 30th. It's
The
going
day
to
after my
be
birthday.
a fun time. Ben's birthday weekend. So we will be doing a live watch along in person, celebrating, having a good time. And man, we have so much things going on in November. So if you guys want to stay up to date with everything, please go follow us over on the We Are Wrestling social media pages, Facebook, X, and Instagram, just to stay up to date with things.
Y'all find it all down here.
Wow, that was a lot of stuff to plug. So
Yeah.
with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling Power of the Poll.
Yeah,
where
baby.
every week we have all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs go to the YouTube tab, the YouTube community post. Every Thursday we post a new Power of the Poll. And last week we asked you guys who is your favorite homegrown TNA tag team. And believe it or not, on YouTube, the Motor City Machine Guns actually won. And for the first time ever, Ben, because we hit 2,000 followers on Facebook, we even did a Power of the Poll on Facebook, and Beer Money won. So it's pretty
Wow.
interesting to see like a diverse Maniacs on 2 different social media platforms.
Yeah, dude.
Well, this week, we asked you guys, what's your favorite version of Bray Wyatt? And unfortunately, I don't have a graphic this week, so I do apologize to you guys. So let's visually, just in our heads.
Okay, ready?
You got... All right, well, Ben, you got the beat, so let's hit that beat, and I'll share the
go.
results. So, here are the results for what's your favorite version of Bray Wyatt, and this is over on the YouTube community tab on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. We have 39% of you guys picked the original Wyatt family Bray Wyatt from 2012 to 2014, while 7% of you guys picked Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt from 2019 to 2021, while 51% of you guys picked The Fiend from 2019 to 2021, which is the winner, and only 3% of you guys picked the new Face of Fear from 2014 to 2018. How do you feel about those results, Ben? Do you agree?
I
Do you
mean-
disagree?
I feel like it should have been the Eater Worlds. I mean, it's I mean, I understand the Fiend because that's kind of like where the hype really came. Like, I mean, that's kind of where I wouldn't really say where he started building his legacy, but really where he started building his legacy, I guess, because that became the most like popular, most selling fucking character of Bray Wyatt's arsenal. Like, arguably, not only was he the modern day Undertaker, but a lot of people are disregarding, but dude was literally the modern day fucking Mankind too. So, like out of all the faces, I'm kind of surprised, but at the same time, I respect it because it was such a big, complex entity out of all of them. Because it kind of had you guessing at all times. You didn't know where it was gonna go. You didn't know how big it was gonna go. I would have rathered see where this new character before he unfortunately had his untimely passing was gonna go, because I feel like that would have been his best work, even though he was gonna become the Fiend again anyways. But it would have been a completely different version that we've never seen before. So and again, if you think Raw on Netflix, what that could have looked like, my God. It's just, I get it,
Even with the new faction too, the Wyatt Six faction.
Exactly. So I guess I can agree.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like the new Face of Fear, which is like Eater of Worlds Bray, definitely should have gotten more love. I can't believe only 3% for that. That to me is crazy because I thought that he had a really good run from 2014 to 2018 because that's when he won the WWE Championship as well.
That was also during a very, very dark period of WWE, though. That was a very dark period.
It was.
So I just like how
and every time he was,
and
I can kind of get it too because every time he was in a feud or a storyline, he ended up putting somebody over. So I could see why people didn't pick that.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I had to pick out of all four of them, I'm probably going with the original Wyatt family. I loved the original Bray Wyatt with him, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan. That was my favorite version of Bray Wyatt.
Right before Braun Strowman came in.
Yep. But overall, though, I get it, though. I can't argue about the Maniacs picking the Fiend. It was very popular. Bray Wyatt was always a popular, polarizing character, but the Fiend really took it to a whole nother level. I even joined a Facebook page, the Firefly Funhouse group.
Yeah, I did too before I left it.
Yep. I got kicked off it. But, yeah, I thought that it was a really good power of the pull because I figured Bray Wyatt, he's always had the horror-likeness to him, and it's Halloween time, so I figured for the power of the pull, we would ask you guys what your favorite character of Bray Wyatt's was.
Yeah.
So if you do want to go vote on next week's Power of the Pull, you can go do that now over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, community tab. Don't worry, there will be a graphic next week. I apologize. With that being said now, let's get into the We Are Wrestling highlight of the week. And this is where we give our highlight of our favorite thing that happened this week in the wrestling world. So we'll start off with you, Ben.
Honestly, finally getting some kind of visuals of the old bloodline together. Seeing Jay, Jimmy together with Roman, and actually just genuinely telling Jay that he was proud of him, regardless. What I like a lot about how complex this is Roman came back, but he didn't really change. I think the only thing that we can see in terms of babyface moments where this is a very different Roman is when he fucking ran back to the ring to help Cody with Jimmy and The Rock came out. That was one of the biggest okay, maybe this dude really has changed, but attitude wise, the way he runs things, the way he talks, nothing has changed, bro. Nothing has changed. So to see exchanges between him and Solo in the ring, with fucking or what, when he fucking told him to acknowledge him as his tribal chief, seeing. I guess
cool.
The highlight of the week is basically watching the story finally get to its boiling point, and now Jay is officially going to be joining Roman and Jimmy, and we are getting War Games. It's
happening.
We're finally getting the major pieces of the puzzle happening. The storyline's really kicking off. So I think right now, that's my highlight.
You see, I think this is my problem, all right? And This is why I love the We Are Wrestling podcast, because this is just a great way to just have a nice therapy session here. You're my therapist half the time. But, yeah, when it's all said and done, like, I didn't believe that Jey Uso was going to be involved at all, and I was really doubting it. Like, how are they going to do this? I don't know why I continue to doubt, like, what could happen, because in WWE in 2024, Triple H, Nick Khan, everybody that's a part of WWE, they love to have us on our tippy toes, because the way WWE was operated back in the day, like, the things we wanted, we never got. So, like, that's always the expectations whenever I'm watching, like, an episode of Raw or SmackDown or a PLE. And I will say, like, I'm really happy that they are getting Jey Uso involved now. It makes sense, and I really like the way that they did it, and that's also my highlight of the week. Has got to be Jey Uso showing up on SmackDown. I really did enjoy that a lot. His interaction with Solo trying to recruit him into the new bloodline, while Jey just wants to get the whole family back together now that he's got the championship, now that he's on top. Getting to see Roman Reigns say he's proud of him, but at the same time, Roman doesn't want to yeet for Jey. So that kind of upset Jey a little bit. And, like, Jimmy's in the middle of it all. Like, there's just so much, like, complex to the story that this week, like, they really, like, finally took it to the next level, which I'm happy.
And Roman, man, like, we're really seeing it play out on screen how much damage he did, you know, like, to everybody, not just, like, you know, to Jimmy
because you
and
could
Jey.
tell, too, like, through his promo, like, he felt like he got too comfortable. And, like, I think he mentioned he didn't say that exactly, but you could tell, like, what he meant.
No, for sure. But, like, in general, though, like, it's just weird, you know? Like, it's really weird, but at the same time, you know, I'm just so excited for the shit. I'm just so excited for it because, like, now...
Me too.
It wouldn't have made sense. The only thing that I'm really not excited about knowing that this all happened is I'm so sick of hearing Rikishi talk. I
can't wait to hear what he has to say about Jey Uso losing the belt.
I don't want to hear him fucking say anything because he has no
especially after friggin' threatening Vince Russo. Like, he's allowed to say whatever he wants now.
That I completely was with him on, though. Like,
my favorite topic last week, by the way.
That 100%. He was warranted to say those things. That I'll be like, okay, you know, Rikishi, you got that, you know, because that's real defense. You know, that's like real defense of like your kid, their accomplishments, everything they've accomplished for their blood, sweat, and tears in the ring. Can get behind that. But anything else, dude, just shut the fuck up. Just let them cook. Your generation is very much coming past, dude. You haven't even been a part of a match in years, bro. So let's not jump the gun and get ahead of ourselves here, you know? It just, I'm glad that if anybody did it, though, it was Jey. Because you saw it, I saw it. Jey was not on that poster with him and Solo. Or Jimmy was not on that poster with him and Solo.
That's right, because at the end of the day, regardless if the Usos go back together or not, Jey will always be better than Jimmy.
Always.
And now, like, our points are proven. So fuck you to Danny Huckins, because I remember him always trying to argue with us about that. And look who got their first singles title first. Jey Uso did. Yeet. Oh, those were fun. Those were fun back in the day of the old episodes. We always like went back and forth with Danny about that with like Jey and Jimmy.
It makes me miss it sometimes, but I'm more comfortable where I'm at. More comfortable where I'm at.
We love you, Daddy. But Jey showing up on SmackDown, that had to be my highlight of the week, and I can't wait to see what happens now with War Games. Like, I want to know if Sami Zayn's going to get involved now. Because you have Roman, you got Jimmy, you got Jey, and there's one spot left to go against Cabacho, Tama, Jacob, and Solo.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude, I think Jay's going to recruit him.
Who? Sammy?
I think he's going to recruit Sammy. Or Jimmy's going to recruit Sammy to try to get Sammy to bring in Jey.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, if it doesn't happen the organic way, I think that is like the best way to do it. To have like Jimmy be like, hey, look, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know how this is. Like, let's fucking go. And then let's get Jey. So I can see that.
Well, I can't wait to get into it more. So with that being said, now let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 131.
God damn, really?
Really? We've
Wow.
been that consistent, Ben. The grind
Wow.
has been real. So, in our
God.
weekly recap, every week we talk about the highlights of what's been happening on wrestling television, whether that's WWE or AEW. And starting things off, on SmackDown last Friday, Motor City Machine Guns made their official WWE debut on SmackDown last Friday. What was your thoughts on the debut?
Like I said, like we talked about it over, the course of the show, like I've always had my eye on Chris Sabin. So it's like, Alex Shelley kind of goes hand in hand there, like it's one of those tag teams you just know they're basically the Usos of fucking TNA. Like they're just one of those tag teams, Can I just comment on how, one, great they look, one, for their age, and two, for their performance level at this state of the game? They're in their 40s, bro. So the fact that they're doing what they're doing right now is incredible, and they fit in beautifully with the roster. And they got a decent pop, too. So I'm like, dude, they're definitely known. Like, clearly, they've been doing this for a long time, so even people that are on this side of the WWE fence are popping for them. Good sign all around. Now, I'm really excited to see how they're going to fit the mold going forward. I'm excited to see how they're going to, kind of spruce up the tag team division, so to speak, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens with the Motor City Machine Guns. They've been a team that I've been following since day one of watching TNA because I kind of got into it around 2005. So they, I believe, formed towards the end of
Same.
2006.
Same.
And that's where I got really invested in them. Two of really talented X divisions that they had, and they were looking for tag teams to build up their division, and man, they picked a great pair with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
They
They've
just
always
work
had that
so
chemistry. And the fact that we got to see so many TNA originals, like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, all of these guys got opportunities with WWE, and it just felt like the Motor City Machine Guns, they should have been there. And the fact that they're finally here now, they're in incredible shape. I love the presentation.
They're on SmackDown, right?
They're on SmackDown. And I'm so happy that, they got this opportunity. And I'm happy that, we didn't have to see them in NXT first.
Dude.
Because I know that was the rumors. And just
I'm
to
so
see
glad
them
it
just
happened.
fit well in SmackDown without really having a build-up, getting that pop. So happy for them.
Whoever put them on SmackDown needs a handshake and maybe a raise and a promotion, because they really put them on the right brand. They put them on the right brand, because Raw right now is way too fucking stacked, especially
too
with, the
stacked.
Wyatt Sticks, and everybody else that follows. SmackDown was in need of some kind of tag division that was genuinely already established, and Motor City Machine Guns have been together since the end of 06. So it's there's you're basically adding, a tag team with the same kind of notoriety as the Usos from a different brand, and you're putting them on one brand. That's exciting, because for a fact that Jimmy is likely going to Raw when they get all together said and done. I think Roman might be too.
I don't
think
know. I feel
Roman
like
might be too.
Bloodline's gonna go to SmackDown.
See,
Because they need
I
that
think-
star power.
I think that they're finally going to split them up, and Roman hasn't been on Raw in years, as a brand, and two, he's also never won the World Heavyweight Championship. So, and Gunther and fucking Roman would be a money-making match eventually.
Yeah, but I
down
don't
the
know.
line.
I feel but if they were gonna do something like that, it would probably be after WrestleMania because of the draft.
Oh, no, for sure. I'm just saying, after this is all said and done, because for a fact it's not ending at fucking War Games. That's just the start of the actual war. That's the battle. The war is WrestleMania, bro. I don't know what form that's gonna take in, but the war is gonna be WrestleMania. So, there's so much that's gonna happen. There's so much that's going on, and I think that at this time, there's a lot to take into consideration.
I agree, and I gotta say, Motor City Machine Guns, I'm so happy for them, and I do hope that they do get a WWE Tag Team title run, which I'm sure will happen eventually. But all I know is friggin' later on tonight, as the podcast is already uploaded, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns, that is a match that
Banger.
I am going to be having my eyes glued to the television
That
screen.
is one where I'm actually genuinely excited to see, because I think DIY kind of needs some kind of, resurgence in that perspective, and then to put them up against, Motor City Machine Guns, a well-established tag team that are roughly in the same kind of weight class. That's gonna be a banger, bro.
I
That's gonna
think
be
I
a
know
banger.
what's gonna happen. Because the
All
winner
right.
of that match on Friday gets to go against Kabacho and Tamatanga for the tag titles. I think what's going to happen is DIY is going to lose to Motor City Machine Guns, and they're going to cost them the tag titles, and we're going to get a rivalry. We're going to get a trilogy of matches between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns.
So you think DIY is gonna be turning heel?
Yep, because Motor City Machine Guns got all the hype, and they're taking away from them. They're going to be jealous.
Yeah, especially since they're basically a failed tag team now. Yeah, that'd be a fucking good story. That'd be a good
So
story.
we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Okay.
But
Donnie,
hell yeah,
cooking.
good for the Motor City Machine Guns.
Good for you. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly recap. On Monday Night Raw this past Monday, Braun Breaker defeated Jey Uso to win back the Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh.
What's your thoughts on WWE dropping the title off of Jey and giving it back to Braun?
Oh God, more fucking bloodline. Let's go. So one, I mean, you needed that big moment and that big convincing factor to bring Jay into the mix, because he's obviously bitter, and what better way than his first big, solo championship win. But of course, it was good to see fucking, Jay Solo out there and fucking Jacob Fatu, the Tongas, at least fucking, cheering him on, being like, cool. But I hate that obviously it comes with a price. You can't just be proud of somebody from afar, Obviously they're fucking proud of somebody of them, behind the scenes, but for that to be the interference, and you knew right there that when they showed up on Raw, he wasn't winning. You knew that they were going to fuck him.
You could just see it right on my face during the reaction.
Now it's time. So I think it was a good move. We all knew that Braun was going to carry that belt heavy. It was a good way to divert him off the title for a little bit, work on that rookie fucking, that rookie syndrome he was going on. But obviously we knew he was ready for the IC title. We knew they're pushing Braun to the fucking moon, bro. And they already teased him in fucking, oh my God, him and Fatu, bro. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, dude, I can't get over that.
Oh, God,
I'm
dude.
so mad that Fatu is on SmackDown and he's on Raw. Because that would be such a good match. I know we're getting it down the line.
Happen.
We're going to get it years from now. But, why do they have to tease us with that now? Because I'm going to be sitting there friggin', if I go to my buddy's house that has WWE 2K, I'm going to be playing as Braun Breaker and going against Jacob Fatu.
I'm telling you this
That's how
right
bad
now,
I want
bro.
that match.
Bro, I'm telling you this right now. That is going to be a money-making match, because we've already teased Jacob versus Braun. We've teased Jacob versus Roman. We've teased Jacob versus Solo already. Jacob Fatu is going to be one of the greatest world heavyweight champions of all time. I'm calling it now. Yo.
As long as he can stay out of trouble, I definitely have to agree.
Can we just talk about the promo earlier in the night where he's just he's like, what you doing with Jacob? There's a reason why we're staying away from him. And if he keeps staring at me, I'm about to knock his ass out. I was just like, dude, that pop, bro. That pop. And the fact that Jacob sold it just by standing there and just being like, the fuck you saying to me? There wasn't any big, just eruption. They let that cook, bro. He's like, knock his ass out. I'm like, yes, give me. Give me. I was like, keep saying fucked up shit. Feed my invasive thoughts. Let's go. It was
so
great,
obvious.
man.
So obviously, with Braun Breaker and Jey Uso, for me, it's a win-win, because Braun Breaker, I think, is ready now, and the thing I like about all of this is it was all so unpredictable. We thought that Braun Breaker was going to go on this long title run. And they could have done that. They could have done the
Braun's
typical
now
big
two-time.
No, but here's the thing, Ben. They could have done the typical big man push like they always do for years in the WWE. But the fact that we actually got Jey Uso having a short Intercontinental title run, not only does it add more to Braun Breaker's character, but it also adds even more to the Bloodline storyline with Jey, because he finally got to the top. Roman said, "I'm proud of you." And then Jay just feels like he's on top of the world, and then it all crumbles down, and he realizes that he needs his family back. So, like, honestly, like, having the, like, this, like, diversity here with both Breakker and Jay, I think it's only going to make them better as performers moving forward. So, honestly, like, I'm happy with this. I will say, at first, like, I thought we were going to be getting, like, a babyface Braun Breakker, and we were going to get this, like, redemption arc. I loved what you said a few weeks ago, talking about how, like, you think Breakker's going to go on this losing streak, and then he's going to finally get that moment. But honestly, it all worked out, which, man, I'm happy that we're going to still get Breakker as champion. He's going to be dominating, having great matches on the Raw brand, while Jey Uso, he's going to go back and finish the Bloodline storyline, which is what we all want at the end of the day.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah. Jay's going to have his time in the sun eventually. You know, like, it's already written in the stars. He already did it once. It's just kind of cool to see Braun Breakker as a 2-time Intercontinental Champion already, though. That's kind of fucking cool.
It is cool, but I will say this, though, as well. I could see Jimmy and Jay getting back together and possibly being the ones to take the titles off of Tama and...
Oh, dude, they're gonna.
Cabacho.
They're gonna.
Because I feel like that's going to be the WrestleMania match.
It's going to be WrestleMania, 100%.
And the Usos are finally going to get the titles back, and the fans, they're going to love it.
Lose they shit.
Lose their shit. We're going to be losing our shits on our live freaking We Are Wrestling watch-along for Mania. But now, with that being said, let's get into our last We Are Wrestling weekly recap on AEW Dynamite. Chris Jericho defeated Mark Briscoe to win the Ring of Honor World title. What's your thoughts on this?
Who cares next? Who cares next?
I knew that was going to be your response.
Dude, why? He's a big name. He's going to be such a fucking pull for ROH. I didn't see one person download the Ring of Honor app. Nobody fucking cares, bro. It's going to be on fucking Dynamite in 5 minutes.
Jericho needs a break. This is not doing anything. If you want me to actually care about Ring of Honor, how about you have your ROH World Champion actually defend the title on Ring of Honor?
And maybe wear his pants again because the diaper's not fucking working. You're almost 60, Jericho. Fucking get with the times. You're not hip anymore, and your hips are fucking showing all over those tighty whities. So come on, bruh.
Hey, they're yellow this week.
Which made it worse. Which made it so much fucking worse because he looks like a beet red lobster with fucking long hair and extensions. He looks like everybody's French grandma that's drunk finally thrown down after she said she would for 28 years. I love Jericho, but my God.
That's literally the only thing I have to say here is, like, if you want me to care about the Ring of Honor Championship, then how about you have Jericho go on Ring of Honor and go against Briscoe for the title? Maybe I would be interested in actually subscribing to it. But that's the issue. Like, you're putting Ring of Honor stuff on AEW, you're putting I don't like that. I like when things are very organized. I have OCD. I want AEW stuff to be on AEW. I want Ring of Honor stuff to be on Ring of Honor. I want New Japan stuff on New Japan. But now, when it comes to like a pay-per-view or like one of those Forbidden Door events, then I'm okay with it because it's fun. But when you're doing it just on a random episode of Dynamite, it's like, here we go again. And like, Jericho's had so many memorable moments in his career, winning world titles and stuff, and
you don't need him anymore.
He's continuing to friggin' tarnish his legacy, man.
How many titles has he had in his whole career? Like 50? Because he made it that way?
Well, when it comes to the World Championship, I believe this is his 9th title. World title.
Can we... Oh my God. I'm getting nauseous just thinking about it.
Well, I'm going to go let you throw up then, because up next we have our We Are Wrestling Comment of the Week, and of course, the We Are Wrestling Weekly News and Rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 131. Go get that basket, Ben.
Hey everybody, it's Hall of Famer Devon Dudley here. And when I'm not putting people through tables or testifying, I am listening to one of the greatest podcasts in the world. We Are Wrestling Podcast. Check it out. Testify.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and before we get into our comment of the week and the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors, we just want to remind all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that if you want to support We Are Wrestling and get yourself some swag, we have some new shirts available now on Pro Wrestling Tees. We made the announcement a couple weeks ago, so if you guys do want to go support us, we do have some merchandise now on Pro Wrestling Tees. So every week, Ben usually takes over, but this week I said, you just got back from Ohio, you need a break, you don't need to be on your phone. We don't need you to get nauseous and throw up a second time here on the show. So I decided I'm going to take over with this. So every week we do this thing called the Comment of the Week. And this week the winner is one of our We Are Wrestling Maniacs over on the YouTube page at Angelo Rodriguez, our boy. Again? That's right. Well, hey, he has a membership over on the channel, so we got to spread some love to
default.
him.
Yeah.
So here is his comment, and this was on Cody Rhodes' promo that happened on SmackDown. I don't think you're ready for this one, Ben.
Oh, God.
So here's what Angelo said about this. Does Cody Rhodes really think his daughter will care if he wins the Crown Jewel title? We won't even see it, so why would she care?
God, Angelo, why do you have to do that? Because I have no choice but to agree. I mean, he's got a point, man. I mean, we're never going to see it. Like, what, once for a special... Wow, sorry about that. When we get to see it, like, once for a special entrance after he wins it, and then it's just going to sit there in the dust collecting in the warehouse. It just... Apparently, Saudi wants, like, serious changes or some shit, but I'm like, why? What power do you hold over them? Like, what agreement do you have that makes you so, like, entitled?
So, I actually disagree with Angelo here. I like the whole concept of this Crown Jewel Championship thing. It's not really, like, a title. That's what people think it is. It's a trophy. And it's only going to be showcased at Crown Jewel. Which, I am not mad at this because it is giving us, like, some Raw and SmackDown, like, interferences. Like, we wouldn't be having Jey Uso show up on SmackDown if we weren't getting this Crown Jewel Championship thing. We wouldn't be having the Bloodline show up on Raw. So, like, we're kind of getting, like, some SmackDown guys over on the red brand, and we're getting some people on the red brand over on the blue brand. I will say, though, it is kind of weird that Cody Rhodes, like, mentioned, like, his daughter and, like, what this means to him, but I like where Cody's going with this because he's selling how important this tournament is, this championship, because he was talking about all, like, the what-if scenarios, like, what if Goldberg went against Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Attitude Era? So, like, I actually enjoyed it.
I'm glad. You know, and it just, you know, it's for some
people,
but
I
at
do,
the same time, I don't know.
But I will say, like, I get where, like, other people are coming from that don't really enjoy this. But honestly, it just, I don't know. It's just something different. But,
It is, and I like that. But at the same time, it's just like, when are we getting the next Andre the Giant Battle Royal? Is that only a Mania thing?
I have no idea.
See what I mean?
I think Triple H is just trying to start some new traditions, and I think that that's okay. You got to see what sticks sometimes and what doesn't. Like AEW, they have the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and they crown a championship for that, which is kind of cool. But it's not for everybody. We all look at wrestling from a different lens. But I could definitely tell that Angelo's stepfather is Christian Cage, 1000% with that comment. So, congratulations to Angelo on the comment of the week. If you guys want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you got to do is leave a comment. Don't worry, Ben will be taking back control of this next week.
Control.
Which, speaking of next week, Ben, what are we going to do about that? Because I just realized next Thursday, because we record the episodes on Thursdays, is Halloween. So what the hell are we going to do? We're recording on Wednesday. Perfect. All right, so we're on the same page. Because I'll be in Rhode Island Friday, so Wednesday we'll be recording.
And I'm going to be doing a Halloween stream all day on Thursday, so it kind of works out. So
okay,
we're
perfect.
We're good.
All right, we're on the same page. Good shit. That's why you're the co-host with the most. So, with that being said now, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. And this is where we talk about all the news that's happening in the pro wrestling world, at least the good stuff. And starting things off, because people love relationships, they love drama. On Sports Illustrated, Adam Cole was asked about the rumor of the breakup between Britt Baker and himself. And he confirmed that they are no longer in a relationship. And this is pretty much what Adam Cole said. We are no longer a couple, but when I say that we both still love each other and are still friends and still so supportive of each other, that could not be more true. What's your thoughts on this? Because I know there's been speculations for the last, few months about them breaking up, and now it's pretty much confirmed.
So all I know is that she's been betrayed to be some kind of convenience store grade A nut milk. So I don't fucking know. I mean, a lot of people said that, he is a lot better off without her. Like, I've never heard anything about the opposite. So I'm just like, you dodged a bullet there, bud. But I mean, as long as it, didn't end ugly and things are, kosher between them, that's all that really fucking matters. But at the same time, I'm like, why does anybody fucking care? It's not their business. I get
exactly
that, their wrestling is their business, but
it's
not
got
their personal life.
I don't know why a lot of wrestling fans want to get in the personal lives and stuff. But the fact that I think Adam Cole definitely handled this like a professional.
He did.
And I think they both did. They both deserve credit for that, and I do wish them nothing but the very best. I know I got the opportunity to meet both Britt and Adam at Heroes Hideout in Albany, and they couldn't be any nicer. But when you go on social media, you do see Adam Cole, he is on Twitch. He's more into gaming and just hanging out. He likes to just keep it low key. While Britt Baker, she has all these ambitions and dreams. She's a pro wrestler, and she's also a dentist as well. She does teeth and stuff, and she likes to travel and go to conventions and actually travel the world. So they are, different, but yeah, I'm glad that they were able to have a mutual breakup, because they do both work for the same company. And anytime you can avoid awkward tension, that's always a good thing, especially in this business.
It's all about professionalism at the end of the day, man.
And I just love that all of the creepy wrestling fans out there that wanted something crazy to happen, because I know there's rumors on other people's social media pages, Britt Baker cheated, this and that. The fact that Adam Cole went on here and just pretty much shut it down, it was just, I love that, because then they're not getting what they want.
Yeah, he's literally handling it how he should, professional, low key, and it's none of anybody's fucking business, It's their personal lives.
Absolutely. So, moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. WWE might be doing an intergender match. According to WrestleVotes, there's been discussions of doing a Rhea versus Dirty Dom match. Should WWE do this?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. It's money. Who fucking wouldn't want to see that shit, dude? And it's finally culminating. She finally gets her hands on Dom and not just fucking Liv, bro.
Well, I could answer that. Who wouldn't want to see that? Probably the people that were upset about Carlito's comments this past Monday on Raw.
Christ. Shut the fuck up, the snowflakes. I'm not talking about them. It's not their moment. It's ours. The fuck?
I love this. I hope it does happen, because I would love to see. I think it would get a massive reaction. Rhea just kicking Dirty Dom's ass. That would be pure entertainment. And honestly,
Cinema.
It was so cool back in the Attitude Era, getting to see China work with Chris Jericho and other stars.
Yeah,
so honestly, seeing Rhea get to work with Dirty Dom in an intergender match, I think a lot of people would be talking about that, and I think it would be very positive.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we got like a good one, a serious one, and if any two superstars really know each other enough to like, how they can go in the ring, it's Dom and Rhea. They spent a lot of time on the road together, in the ring together, around the ring together. So if anybody knows how to like, wrestle an intergender match that's really believable, that could be good for a storyline and, emotionally fueled, it's them. This is fucking gold. We haven't gotten this shit in a long time. This is going to be a different kind of cinematic match at Survivor Series. I guarantee it's going to happen at Survivor Series.
And that's the thing, like, believable. That's the term that I do want to bring up because I'm all for intergender wrestling. I love watching intergender matches in the independent circuit as long as it's believable and it makes
chemistry
sense.
As well. Chemistry as well. And they were together for like, 2 years? They were like a pair for the company? So
yeah, plus like they have all the history with the Judgment Day, and it makes sense.
This is the match, bro. Like this is like, yeah, I would be excited to see that on Survivor Series, dude. I'd be tuning in that shit real fucking quick. I don't think anybody that has been legitimately following WWE for the last 2 years and have been genuinely compelled by it would think this is a bad idea. Like I think that everybody is genuinely on board for this. I think everybody.
I have to totally agree with that. So I hope that it actually does happen because I think Rhea and Dom, they could not only money, but they also can really like make this movement in professional wrestling, and we might actually get more opportunities like this because I know we do get this a lot, like when it comes to like the independent circuit, and like I know TNA likes to do it as well. So, like, it would be kind of cool to see, like, WWE actually have, like, an intergender match. That would be wicked cool.
That would be cool. Oh,
because think of, like, all, like, the young girls that would, like, look up to Rhea.
Oh, absolutely, bro, dude. Like, especially when it comes to, just being more than just, fucking Princess Pretty all the time. There's always another alternative as well, Like, it's kind of cool. It's
because just
cool
like men, women can kick ass. That's what I'm going to leave
dude.
it at.
I think women kick more ass than men in general. I'll say it. Like they're tough as fuck. They have higher pain tolerances. They give birth. They got us beat, motherfucker.
You got that right.
So
you got that right. 9 months too of torture.
Yeah, dude. Being sick at any given moment. Yeah, fuck that. You women, you got it, dude. 100%.
Yep.
Y'all got that.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of women empowerment, according to PW Insider, there's been whispers and comments that women are now getting paid at the level of men with these new WWE deals. What's your thoughts on this?
Man, first of all, congrats on that fucking flawless segue into this. Honestly, like that's a great segue. I'll 100% say that, yeah, I mean, some of the biggest draws in the last few years have been mostly from the women. Like the women they're killing it, bro. Like ever since the 2018 Women's Revolution of WWE, like they have really stepped up the game on how a lot of these female competitors and superstars operate and like what their worth is and how much they deserve. So yeah, just because they're a woman does not mean that they deserve a lower pay cut if they're just as big of a draw as the men. Like it's just it's the work, the talent, and what you put into it and what fucking you can from it. So yeah, I don't see an issue here. I think this is fantastic. This is phenomenal, if anything.
This is the reason why I love the WWE. This is the reason why I love pro wrestling as a whole, because this is a movement that I think that we're going to start to see in women's sports just as a whole. Like women's basketball is finally getting like the recognition that it deserves. They finally had their first year where like the women's NBA has made a profit and didn't have to rely on the NBA. And having WWE doing this, paying the women the same as the men, this is a huge step in the right direction when it comes to women's sports because they're out here busting their asses just as hard as the men. So for WWE to be locking in these new deals and giving the women what they deserve, and I think arguably, like, some of these women deserve to be paid more than some of, like, the mid-card men out there.
Agree.
Because they are, right now, a needle mover. And they're even sometimes the biggest highlight on Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view.
Big agree.
Like, I am so happy about this news, and WWE, they're always doing stuff like this, changing the way the world works.
Yes.
And I'm happy that this is how it's going to start with the women, because WWE did give the women the opportunity, and then more and more sport like industries out there have been giving women opportunities. So I am all for this.
Dude, I couldn't agree with you more. That's basically what I was saying. I could not agree with you more, dude. It just, what a time for, women wrestlers out there to finally be recognized for how much they put into it too. Because again, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're not out here trying to catch the same dream. If you ever see heels, perfect example.
Yes, sir. Well, moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Speaking of Chris Jericho, this is going to be a good topic, though. This is not him winning the Ring of Honor title. According to WrestleVotes, Chris Jericho's current AEW deal is up in 2025. No injury time or anything is set to be added as it stands. Would you like to see Chris Jericho return to the WWE?
It'd be cool, but I don't know how well that'd work. And I don't think he's needed. That hard period where he could have helped the company is long sailed. Like, they're good now without him. I mean, if he does show up, cool. But at that point, I feel like it would kind of go against every principle that he's been preaching the last 7 years almost that AEW's been around. 6 years.
AEW's been around 5 years.
So 5 years that they've been around. Fuck, Jesus Christ. So again, I feel like the AEW could probably continue to benefit from him. I don't think, that he needs to go to WWE, but I mean, if he shows up, cool, but don't expect to have that same, big dick energy, because now you're a very small fish in a very large pond. So it's like, I feel like going to WWE would hurt him, if anything.
So here's my thoughts on this. And this is why I wanted to talk about this, because I feel like we don't really talk much about Chris Jericho because he hasn't really done anything newsworthy to really cover here on the show.
Yeah, that's another reason why he shouldn't have to go.
But one thing I always loved about Y2J Chris Jericho was he's always been able to go out and reinvent himself and take time away and come back. And as an AEW fan since day one, I love the signing of Jericho. It was a huge moment in their company. They were able to get their television deal with TNT and Warner Brothers Discovery because of Chris Jericho. But through time, Jericho never took that break. And I think that that's really hurt his stock a lot because he's been the type of person where, especially during a time where people didn't want to take breaks because they would work through injury because they thought they would lose their spot, Jericho was never afraid of doing that. So Jericho would take his time off, go on like tours with Fozzy, or just take time away from doing stuff. And then when he returned, when he came back, it meant something. Yeah, and I feel like at AEW, if Jericho actually did that, man, AEW would be less torturing to watch. Yeah. I think that they could really benefit from Jericho taking a solid maybe 6 to 12 week break, going on tour or doing something besides wrestling. Because I just think that his stock has just gone way down.
So here's the deal.
I don't know if AEW should re-sign him.
I don't think they should either, but now that we've talked. So here's where I would be cool with him coming back to WWE, but this is going to be a big if, and this is going to be a lot to ask, but this is my requirements for me to be super cool with it. I mean, obviously, fucking people are going to blow up by that, be like, oh, dude, you shouldn't have no requirements. Fuck you. I'm literally a fucking podcaster giving my opinion, all right? So
hey, we're wrestling fans.
Hear me out. So the way I'd be cool with him coming back to WWE and really putting a new lease on his career in maybe a big pop moment is now you're going to WWE. You're not going to have that big wing pull that you had in AEW. You're not going to be in anybody's ears. You know that. Other than maybe Triple H, and sometimes it could help, but pull the CM Punk approach and dial back. You don't have to be ahead of creative. You don't. And CM Punk is very happy where he's at. With Jericho, I'd want him to take a year off of wrestling. A year. like off of touring too, and this is why. Obviously, stay in the ring and like keep your awareness, and stay in like ring cut shape, but also hit a legitimate gym, get a nutrition plan, build your fucking physique back up, because my God, he's suffering. I'll fucking say it. He's suffering, and nobody's clearly wants to fucking point this out. Cut the fucking mane. Go back to where he was 07 Jericho look, in the best shape of his life, and come back to the fucking Y2J Jericho. Get rid of fucking Judas, come back nostalgic, and people are going to fucking pop. Because if a wrestler takes a year off, people question if you're done or not. If you stay out of the public eye enough, work on a new Fozzy record amidst getting in the best shape of your life, so you're out of the public eye, you're not touring, put your complete transformation on a record, come back to wrestling, promote the album, be a part-timer. You don't need to do this full-time anymore. He's reaching 60 within like the next 5 to 6 years. And you'll put another lease on your career. You'll be able to sign a Legends deal, and then you can end your career great. But that's just the way I see it.
And I would love to see like Jericho have like a retirement tour or like one final match.
Yeah.
And I think like for Jericho to do it the right way, yes, AEW did do a fantastic job with Sting's retirement, but I think with Jericho, like WWE is the right place to go because he had such a great career over
Illustrious.
there. A Hall of Fame worthy career. And
that's where he built
I
his
have
career.
to 10,000% agree with what you're saying here. I think you literally hit the nail on the head with that. But Jericho, obviously, he's not going to be able to get back into that type of shape because he is at that age. But he definitely could get himself into some shape, and I think...
No. He could get into that shape again if he wanted to. If the fucking Rock's doing it, and if fucking Edge is doing it at roughly the same fucking age, there is no reason why Jericho can't. Especially with the lack of injuries that he has gotten compared to both. So you can't make excuses. And it's like, put your party hat off, because Jericho is a party animal. So take your party hat off and watch how much he slims down. Again, if he wanted to, he could.
Yeah, you could do anything if you put your mind to it. Like that I do agree with.
And he's got the money.
Definitely needs the time off. Like I feel like he forgot like what it means to like less is more.
Yeah.
And I think Jericho like, and I'm noticing this with a lot of like AEW guys that like were legends in WWE or professional wrestling. It seems like they take on more responsibilities than they should. And that's not AEW's fault because they do give you more leeway, more creative freedom. Some people, they strive under that, like Swerve Strickland and MJF, while others suffer through that. And we've seen that happen. And I think Jericho is suffering through that because he's going through one of those like old school like WWE legends where like when they left WWE, they went to WCW, they got the bag, and their run in WCW was nowhere near as good as WWE.
So, question, who's getting put over, whose turn is it to choose for getting put over next week?
Well, I didn't get to do Jack Perry last week because the episode Ricky and I, when we put him over, literally freaking got corrupted.
Okay. All right, bet. So we'll do Jack Perry next week. But the week after, I'm already putting in who we're going for. We're doing Swerve Strickland.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I've been curious about Homeboy, and I feel like I've been sleeping. So I need to get acquainted. So
well, you got a couple weeks to do your research and watch some of his stuff, which I'll definitely send you. But yeah, with Chris Jericho though, now when it comes to his AEW contract being up, I think Jericho like shouldn't sign anywhere and just stay on the low. Stay away from like the wrestling scene for a little while and then make your decision then, because I think whether he does go back to AEW or he does go to WWE and ends his career the right way,
he should.
It's going to be a massive reaction.
Dude, seeing Jericho in WWE again would also be almost to the same nostalgia point of Cody Rhodes, because nobody thought that shit was happening, considering he was basically what created AEW. So my God, All
And
right,
it's one of
yeah.
those situations that I did. And speaking of Cody Rhodes, this is the last point I'm going to make. This is one of those situations with Jericho where AEW, their homegrown stars the last 5 years are really starting to come out of their shell. More people are coming in, taking those opportunities. The less stock Jericho has, just like Cody Rhodes towards like the end of his run, because that's when CM Punk came in, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. So those big names came in. Cody just went down more and more, and then eventually went back to WWE, and I could see something like that happening with Jericho. But we are going to have to wait and see what happens. We're definitely going to stay up to date with all of his contract stuff, because that is huge if he doesn't re-sign. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Speaking of signing a deal, during a recent interview with Kayfabe Friends, Sting announced that he signed a multi-year Legends deal with AEW. What's your thoughts on this?
Homeboy must really fucking hated his experience in WWE. He signed an AEW Legends deal. I mean, to be fair, though, Sting was treated like fucking royalty compared to WWE. But Sting, again, also joined during a very dark period in WWE. I wish he would have at least explored what the other side looks like today before signing any kind of Legends deal. I mean, if it made sense, AEW was the place to go because he made his last of his prolific run there, and it was beautiful. But I wish he would have just allowed himself to experience what it was like, now in the breath of fresh air. But at the same time, I'm cool with it because, again, they handled him great. So,
well, I'm going to tell you from a selfish standpoint, I fucking hate this because I really want... because
I fucking hate this had so much fucking sincerity in it, Donnie. Oh my god.
No, I'm gonna explain to you why, Ben. I'm gonna explain to you why. Okay. All right, from a selfish standpoint, I really want WWE Mattel to make more Sting wrestling figures for my collection.
The sincerity of
but they can't if he's under an AEW deal, and he's under an AEW deal. So, as a selfish. I'm selfish. I'm not happy about it. Because
I get that.
Like AEW Jazzware, like they have nothing on WWE Mattel.
Listen, I can back.
No, I'm gonna tell you something interesting here, Ben, that you don't know. And maybe there is some wrestling figure listeners here. So a couple years ago, during WrestleMania Access, they had this this crowdfunding project. And it was the Monday Night War stage for WCW. And it was going to be this massive, big stage with like lighting and just, like friggin' state of the art. But it didn't get backed. And I think it would have gotten backed if we had Sting in there, a Sting figure. So, selfishly, I am pissed about this. But now getting into like a professional standpoint, I get why Sting did sign the deal because I think he is getting his son ready for professional wrestling, and I think his son will be wrestling for AEW.
Bro,
because he has been training with FTR, Sting, and Edge.
Cool, that's fucking awesome. But I can back everything you said about the toys. I can back him going to AEW, whatever. What I can't seem to get over is how sincere that I fucking hate this was on behalf of just wanting more fucking toys.
It really comes down, Ben, it really comes down to toys. I would love to get a brand new Sting WWE figure Christmas morning, but guess what? I can't. I gotta wait for Jazzware to give me a fucked up figure. That's gonna already get back ordered.
Down to toys. He said, "Fuck the illustrious career. Fuck the run. I want my fucking toys, but I can't fucking have them. I fucking hate this."
I hope We Are Wrestling clips this. Oh my god.
Wild, bro. At least you were honest.
Yeah, it really just comes down to toys, but I'm happy for Sting for getting the bag at least. It could have been more money though if he signed the WWE. especially with like Mattel with all these like re-releases, like they could give us updated stick figures. Anybody that listens to the podcast that's into wrestling figures definitely got a kick out of this.
Oh my god, my eyes, my face fucking hurts. Oh, I was blind for a second there. Holy shit. Oh, I needed that. Oh, I needed that laugh so bad. That was great.
And I kind of feel bad for Sting too, because like he's separated from all of his friends that are signing WWE Legend deals, like Diamond Dallas Page.
I'm sick, bro. Oh my god, that was. Oh god, that was
And
so
Oldberg. Oldberg's about to sign a Legends deal. Another one of his buddies.
That's the fucking wrestling community's best friend, fucking Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, WWE apparently has big plans for him, but we're not going to talk about that. Speaking of big plans that I know we wanted that we never got, just like this individual who's not happy about this.
Who, Gambit?
Moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors topic.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley shares his comments on the Hurt Business not reuniting in WWE and stated that it was kind of a spit in the face that the Hurt Business was not rewarded for working during such a dangerous time in the COVID pandemic. After the pandemic, then all of these people started resurfacing. Oh, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to work. But what about the guys that were putting in time in this dangerous time that we were having? And we kind of got overlooked, and I think that was kind of a little bit of a spit in the face. I think we could have come back and we could have done some big things together. Do you agree or disagree with Lashley's point of view?
I mean, all bias aside, let me properly digest my hit real quick.
Yep, you needed that after my Sting comment.
Oh, dude, that shit was so funny. All bias aside, as much as I find fucking Bobby Lashley to be like the most lukewarm fucking promo deliverer to ever exist on the face of the planet, he's a solid worker. He was a solid champion, but he needed a mouthpiece. In the Hurt Business, man, oh my fucking god, dude. Like, when is the last time, other than the Nation of Domination, that we got a legitimate, almost all black fucking male and was gonna eventually have a female involved group of people really dominating the spectacle of WWE? And they were doing great, dude. We were getting Shelton Benjamin some screen time, and again, another fucking workhorse, which, by the way, I saw his first match on AEW. Phenomenal shit.
He's killing it right now, dude.
As much as he's a dick. Cedric Alexander, somebody who was super underlooked, especially with what he could do in the ring, his physique. Like, yeah, he, was kind of green around the gills on the mic, but that's what happens when you don't fucking give people chances, And Bobby Lashley, an MVP, like, that was a solid group of fucking people. I hope Cedric jumps ship and goes to fucking AEW now too.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but Cedric just re-signed with WWE.
So they probably have some. So they probably have some kind of fucking plans for him. And honestly, if that's the case, good, because he is phenomenal to watch. He's the last Ricochet. He's the last thing we got to a Ricochet and a Rey Mysterio. So I need it.
WWE speed.
Shut up. I really do hope that they, thrive in AEW. I do agree that it was definitely cut very short for no fucking reason, because they had fucking momentum going at that time too. So I do hope that it does thrive in AEW, because I know that Bobby Lashley either signed or is like about to sign or some shit. So
yeah, I believe he did sign. I don't think it's 100% until we actually do see him. But
bro, I don't even remember
the
his
way
last
that
appearance.
like they're going with it. He definitely had to have signed.
Bro, I don't know. Like, I don't even remember his last appearance, bro, on WWE television. I don't remember how he left. I don't remember how he left.
SmackDown. I think he was doing stuff with the Street Profits and B-Fab.
Yeah, he was, but like
that was it.
Yeah, I don't remember him leaving. He was just gone and all of a sudden signed to another company. I'm like, what? Like, what? He was like on top of the world. They just kind of fizzed him out fast, bro. And I'm just like, I was hyped as fuck when he came back, But there was always something he was missing. And I think his heel turn, the Hurt Business helped him. So I hope it thrives in AEW.
The thing that was missing with Bobby Lashley was MVP. And what do I always say here on the podcast? Don't fix something that's not
broken.
Broken. Exactly. And I don't understand why friggin' they got rid of the Hurt Business in the first place. Like, it doesn't make sense
Honestly?
whatsoever. It was so over. Like, Lashley was on Brock Lesnar level during the pandemic.
He was. And I'm going to say this right now.
Here's my favorite wrestler.
Hot take. I think Omos should go to AEW too, because I've seen him actually move, bro. And they have held brother back. Like, yeah, he could definitely get better about, being a little bit more safer. But he could move, bro. And I didn't realize how well until I saw his non-televised shit and like him like coming up and doing all the things. That dude can fucking move, bro. So I would love to see.
I did hear during this interview with Lashley, he did talk about how like he feels like WWE's misusing him and they should be using Omos more, like to his like full capacity.
Dude.
And I know he also mentioned too that he feels like Karrion Kross deserves like a better push.
That's where we're going right now. Apparently, dude, I saw that promo Karrion did, and it was nothing but good things on the comments. They're like, just like, dude, fucking yes, we're finally getting Karrion Kross in some kind of Wyatt thing, and people are happy as fuck for him. So I think his time on the horizon's coming very soon, sooner than we both anticipate. But that's a discussion for another time. However, I believe that Omos could thrive in the Hurt Syndicate and being their big fucking like muscle and like letting him fucking go, bro. Just let him be a creative tank. Maybe don't put him on a mic, obviously. Let fucking MVP take care of that.
Keep that microphone away from him.
But let him fucking go. Because, my God, dude, do yourself a favor if you haven't. Watch Omos's non-televised stuff and his come-up. It is wild how well that dude can actually move.
I'm really going to have to. You got to send me the link.
I will.
Want to see that. Might even do a reaction video to that. But when it's all said and done, like Bobby Lashley, dude, low-key, he is spitting facts on these podcasts and interviews. Like, he is not wrong at all. And even though, like, Drew McIntyre's finally getting rewarded for the stuff that he did during the pandemic, for a while he wasn't. And, like, that, I kind of feel bad for a lot of the people now, like, in the Thunderdome era, thinking about it, because if you really do look back, like, the people that were, like, big stars during that time that were really holding down the fort, they didn't really get the same love back when the crowd started coming in. Dude. And I just can't believe it with Lashley. Like, they literally had the next Brock Lesnar. The one thing that was missing for Lashley his whole career was a mouthpiece. MVP was the perfect guy for that. Shelton and Cedric were a great tag team. I know for a while when Shelton came back to WWE, they kept trying to pair him up with all these other people, and it wasn't working. And then finally they had something going with him and Cedric, giving them the titles. Like, a huge missed opportunity. And for the people, like for the WWE fans that are mad about MVP and Shelton being in AEW and soon Lashley, like, you can't be mad at them for, like, not wanting... They deserve to, like, have a big platform to show what they could do. So, like, I don't know, with Lashley, like, I feel like I have to agree with his point of view. It's fucked what happened to him.
It is very fucked because it could have gone places, you know?
My God, they had another, like, and that's the thing about Lashley, like, I was never a Lashley guy. Like, he was never one of my favorite guys, like, he was just another guy on the roster, but when they had the Hurt Business and they paired him up with MVP, he became, like, my favorite friggin' wrestler during that Thunderdome era, because there really wasn't a lot of people to really cheer for, and Lashley really became, like, that, like, fan favorite for me.
Yeah,
and
dude,
I really enjoyed it.
Lashley was killing it for a long time, bro. Like, he was killing it for a long time. Something just was not clicking for him, but, you know, it is what
and
it
that
is.
was when they got rid of MVP, I think.
It is what it is.
And his Hurt Business, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I can't wait to see what he does in AEW, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
That's
think
gonna be a big one.
It's going to be a big one. But moving on now to our last We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. In case you guys haven't listened to the We Are Wrestling Extra, earlier this week, myself and our former co-host on the We Are Wrestling podcast, Danny Huckins, we actually did talk about this briefly when the news came out, and there has been some reports that have happened, and we haven't really heard your thoughts yet on this. So, what's your thoughts on Lillian Garcia returning to WWE and Samantha Irvin leaving to pursue outside projects.
Oh shit! I hope Samantha opens a fucking OnlyFans. Shit, I'm kidding. But Nostalgic City, 100% Nostalgia City when it comes to Lillian Garcia. That's who we grew up with. That's like the voice of wrestling, other than for me, Tony Schimmel on SmackDown. Obviously I couldn't be more overjoyed.
Love you, Tony.
Love you, Tony. The rated R superstar Edge. I am really excited, for Lillian Garcia, but I'm also very excited for whatever it is that Samantha Irving wants to do, which I've heard is like music. She wants to do I just saw it was like music. She wants to do like more like your career path she wanted to also do while doing WWE, but obviously with WWE it's very strict in some areas still, so ultimately they couldn't come to a deal. She's not going to AEW, so it's not like she's leaving for another promotion or anything like that.
Ricochet did confirm that on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure that if she ever wanted to go back to WWE, she would have a fucking job, and I think it's not the last time we're seeing Samantha Irving. I think that we're going to see her eventually down the line come back and maybe call a couple matches, I think that this is a great move for her, especially business-wise, because, again, even though that you're good at something, if there is a dream that you are looking to achieve, go for it, because ultimately we have one shot in these meat sacks, and you got to bet on yourself sometimes. And honestly, she's in a position now where she can. I'm assuming financially, especially with Ricochet going to AEW, what she's been able to garner since joining WWE and calling so many monumental moments. She has to be getting some kind of bag, So it's like, she's in a spot now where she's able to kind of explore what she wants to do and who she wants to be. So I'm really excited for her. And again, I would have nobody fill in that void full time than Lillian Garcia. So in a way, it's bittersweet, but I'm happy on both ends.
I will say this about Samantha Irvin. It's crazy that these reports came out. Like, a lot of this came out after the extra that Danny and I recorded. And I even said, I knew, the reason she left was for outside projects. I literally said that on the extra. I knew, she wasn't going to go to AEW right away. A lot of people think that, just because they're a couple, that's why, she's going to go there. It would be exciting to see, her do ring announcing because she is really fucking good at it. But I think that, she does have other projects that she wants to pursue. That's pretty much the reports that are coming out. And I said this during the extra. I don't know if you caught it or not, but I will say this on here for the people that didn't listen to it. In WWE, your number one responsibility is World Wrestling Entertainment. You have to dedicate your entire life, even though it is a lot easier now to get time off and stuff. You have to dedicate, you have to give everything you have to this industry. And Samantha Irvin, she can't do music. She can't pursue other things because being a ring announcer is just as difficult as being a performer. Because not only does she have to be at the television shows or the premiere live events, she also has to be at all the house shows. Because if you have been to a WWE live event, usually the ring announcer, they're like the host of the event. And they have to interact with the fans throughout the entire night. They have to make you guys feel like you're in.
That's only some people. The host of the house shows is actually Byron Saxton.
Oh. Well, that must be newer. I'm talking about old school wise.
Oh, I would say 20.
Well,
since 2019, the house shows. Yeah,
so
Byron Saxton. Since 2019.
Also, in 2019, so he was hosting, and then there was another ring announcer, or was he ring announcing?
He was ring announcing.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, the ring announcer, because I know Samantha does do all the house shows.
Oh, now she does?
Well.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does the house shows. Same with
that's wild.
Alicia and SmackDown.
Oh,
so it is a huge responsibility as well. So because I know around that time Brian Sexton was doing announcing for a little bit. Because sometimes they'll train somebody that's working backstage to do it at a house show, because usually If it's not seen on TV, it doesn't exist.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, I think overall, like, her pursuing outside projects, great move. I know that's why Renee Young left WWE for a while, because she had a lot of opportunities on television, I think, to work with Fox and stuff. And then eventually, like AEW, she was able to do all these other projects while getting to work for AEW. But I'm glad that the reports are out, though, with Samantha Irving, that, like, she is not AEW bound and won't be working in the pro wrestling space for a long time, unless she opts in to, like, return to WWE down the line. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, she is one of the greatest ring announcers of all time.
If not the greatest.
Absolutely. Well, oh man, it's time, Ben. Up next, we have our Getting Put Over segment, which is our main event topic this week, and we're going to be putting over the best in the world, CM Punk. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 131.
It's clobbering time.
What's up, everyone? This is Matthew Riddle, the king of bros. I just want to say, if you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. We Are Wrestling is returning to the Wrestling Classic 5.
Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner is putting together a lineup full of wrestling legends and Hall of Famers you have the opportunity to meet.
Some of the big names you can meet includes good old Jim Ross, JBL, Shelton Benjamin, Donovan Dijak, Deborah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and many more stars to be announced.
We Are Wrestling will be selling exclusive merchandise you can only find at the Classic, and for the very first time, we'll be recording a special bonus episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We highly encourage the We Are Wrestling Maniacs to come to our booth and hang out with us. You can interact and meet the best one, Donnie, Ben, and Ricky Knows Best.
This will be the best wrestling classic yet, and it will all be happening on Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass.
Get your tickets now at www.zombie-hideout.com. We're back, and before we get into our main event topic / getting put over, we do want to remind all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, if you have nothing going on Saturday, November 16th, We Are Wrestling is going to be at the Wrestling Classic 5. Myself, Rage Circus, Ricky Knows Best, and of course, Casual Cam. We're all going to be chilling there, and we're also going to be hanging out with Little Guido Nuncio. So if you actually want to go meet him, he will be hanging out at the We Are Wrestling table. But the only way you can do that is going to the Wrestling Classic 5, Saturday, November 16th, the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. And if you do want to make the trip out and it's a little far from you, there is a wrestling show not that far from the Classic that's happening that night, Blitzkrieg Pro. We Are Wrestling, we sponsor matches. If you don't believe me that Blitzkrieg is one of the best independent wrestling companies, go to our We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and go watch the matches that we sponsor, because they are banger after banger after banger.
All right, we got to chill on that because we don't want to get copyrighted by browsers, all right? We don't want to get copyrighted.
Ooh, I almost forgot, Ben. You almost forgot something, because I know you did want to share your thoughts on what happened on Raw earlier this past Monday with the Carlito situation.
Oh, yeah, we can do that real quick. So, when it comes to the thing that everybody is absolutely blowing up over when it comes to the Carlito situation and him saying that I really need to learn Chinese when Kairi Sane and Io Sky were in the same room, chill the fuck out. We've seen how a lot of Asian talent has been kind of joked about in the past and nobody said a damn thing. And it was 1,000 times worse than this. It was fucking hilarious then. You literally have an Asian guy speaking to you. There was no harm done. That shit was fucking hilarious. And if you're really mad about it, maybe wipe your ass, turn on your Looney Tunes, and eat your fucking Apple Jacks because somebody needs a nap. All right, we're good. Alright, we're good.
And I also did hear, and I also did like read reports too that like Kyrie and Io, they weren't even upset about the comments. Like if they
Really?
were really upset about it, then like I feel like Carlito, there would be reports that like he's suspended by WWE.
He's suspended
This
by
and
something
that.
that we asked him to do.
And it's crazy, like everybody talks about how they want WWE to like go back to like the Attitude Era, this and that, and it's like I don't think this generation is ready for something like that, let alone the WWE universe.
Facts.
So with that being said, now let's get into our main event topic, which is our Getting Put Over segment. Every week, Ben and I, we alternate. We pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. A couple weeks ago on the podcast, Ben and I, we decided that we want to put over Jack Perry and CM Punk. I don't even know, like, why we decided to do that, but we're doing that. And last week Ben was in Ohio, so I just felt like, yeah, like we need to wait until Ben's here, and there's not really anything that's like main event worthy to talk about, except this friggin' gentleman. He is a main event worthy topic. He does get us a lot of views when we put him in the thumbnails. So this week we are putting over the best in the world. It's clobbering time. CM Punk. And I am so excited about this Getting Put Over segment because CM Punk has had one hell of a career, and there's just so much that we get to dive into and talk about. Pretty much our childhood, because we got to watch CM Punk growing up.
Yes, sir.
So, usually how we begin this is going through the accolades, and Ricky, where the fuck are you when it comes to this? Because now you're going to make me pull out my freaking new iPhone Pro Max. I got to go to freaking Wikipedia, and I got to go to CM Punk's accolades here. I should have been more prepared, but Ricky's not here, so I blame Ricky 1,000%. So hashtag blame Ricky Knows Best in the comments.
Ricky knows best. Oh, fuck. That's a real good one.
What's a better nickname? Ricky Knows Best or Casual Cam?
Oh, God. Probably Casual Cam, just based on like how casual it is.
Man, Casual Cam is becoming a very popular thing on We Are Wrestling lately. Love it. Ricky loves that nickname too, by the way. But now, let's get into the... Oh, what were you going to say?
I said we need to find like an actual name for Ricky, because Ricky Knows Best was actually the segment that we originally had him in, so we have to call him like Ricky something of Ricky Knows Best.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something. But now let's go over the accolade. Let's go over the accolades for CM Punk's career, and we're gonna start off with AEW. Because he is a two-time AEW World Champion.
And he's still the champion.
Huh?
And he's still champion, technically, so...
Well, I was just going to get into that. He is also a real World Champion, which is a championship that is unrecognized one time. And now let's get into his OVW highlights, because that is where he did develop before going to WWE. He is a one-time OVW World Heavyweight Champion, and also a one-time OVW Southern Tag Team Champion with a guy that we've never heard of. Now, let's get into Ring of Honor. CM Punk is a one-time ROH World Champion, a two-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion with his old best friend, Colt Cabana, and he's also a Ring of Honor Hall of Famer, class of 2022. Now getting into his WWE accolades. Woo, here we go. He is a two-time WWE Champion, three-time World Heavyweight Champion, one-time ECW Champion, one-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, one-time World Tag Team Champion with Kofi Kingston, a two-time Money in the Bank winner, back-to-back years 2008 and 2009, and... that is it for the accolades for CM Punk.
Hell fucking yeah.
Hell fucking yeah. where do we want to start with CM Punk? Because, man, there's a lot to talk about.
Let's get the unknown out of the way that I don't know first, and then we can go into WWE.
All right, so, of course, CM Punk, a lot of people know him from his time in Ring of Honor.
Big.
I didn't really watch a lot of it, but going back years later, one of my favorite things during his time in ROH has got to be the Summer of Punk. His matches with Samoa Joe, absolutely legendary, and that's how they became best friends. Even I think his last match that he had before he made the announcement that he signed with WWE, him and Colt Cabana, I always thought that they had great chemistry as well, which did make sense because they were best friends at the time. But, yeah, CM Punk had a very legendary career, starting off in Ring of Honor, and that's where he really developed the CM Punk character. Because throughout his entire life, he has been straight edge.
You'll be surprised as to what one of my favorite CM Punk matches are, and you're not going to see it coming. You're not going to see it coming. I could bet real life money you would never be able to nail it down. You will never be able to nail it down. Nobody. I don't think anybody can.
Let me guess, it was on Velocity. CM Punk versus Paul London.
No, I don't even think that has ever happened. And two,
I know.
No.
I looked it up beforehand.
But it's of that kind of rarity, and it's actually something that you would be like, whoa, because nobody would think about it.
All right. Well, then, of course, CM Punk, he also did some stuff in TNA at the time with Ring of Honor because they had like this working relationship until the things came out about one of the Ring of Honor owners.
The small guys got to stick together.
So CM Punk, like one of the highlights for me during his TNA run, I really did enjoy the work that he had with Raven. I thought that they had a really good storyline going on. I think Mickie James was like their valet, like they were a part of like this faction, and then eventually Punk like got away from Raven, which I thought that they had like some really good matches during like the Asylum years.
Oh yeah.
But then of course, CM Punk went over to OVW and then eventually joined the new ECW brand. So let's start there.
Yeah.
Where he made his debut.
God, that fucking promo was so goddamn cringe, but sometimes I miss that his old theme song by Killswitch Engage, As Fire Burns, that was also the Judgment Day fucking theme song for 2006. Or 2006. That's when London and Kendrick won the fucking titles, was that pay-per-view. I miss those days, because ECW was kind of like rebranded in WWE's ECW as kind of like the new age ECWs where, in the beginning era, you had fucking Kelly, which I thought was going to show her fucking tits on live TV, dude. I was so hyped, but I had to
until Mike Knox friggin' cock blocked you.
Bitch. Yeah, bitch. I had to fucking make sure I had the fucking TV, power button ready to turn off the TV because all we had was a TV in the fucking kitchen. So I couldn't have my aunt come around seeing fucking boobies on the TV or else I was fucked, dude. I went to Catholic school at that time, so that was like sacrilegious fuck. But that's kind of like what was branded as, and ironically enough, I think CM Punk and him actually had that rivalry during that, was him and Mike Knox, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah, they did.
Him and CM Punk, that was his first rivalry, was him and Mike Knox and him on behalf of Kelly.
Yep, because I do remember, like, with the WWE version of
segue.
ECW, pretty much, like, they were bringing in, like, the originals, but at the same time, they wanted to develop new stars, and I think CM Punk was definitely, like, the guy. I remember Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was really pushing for him.
Dude, I just realized, I think CM Punk actually debuted right after that segment. I think right after that segment, he debuted. His debut match was right after that, I think.
Well, I do remember his debut match. I think it was against Justin Incredible.
It was.
Incredible put him over.
Yes, he did.
Like we're doing right now at CM Punk. We're putting him over.
And we didn't even have to take a fucking shot to the face.
Yeah, so with ECW, what has got to be some of like your highlights during that time?
Bitch, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It's been a long time, bro.
Well, I'm going to tell you mine.
A long time. Go ahead.
So, originally, at Night of Champions in 2007, it was supposed to be CM Punk and Chris Benoit in the finals for the ECW Championship. But then, of course, we know what happened there. And that's when John Morrison repackaged himself, and I really enjoyed the feud
I
between
did.
Punk and Morrison. They had a great series of matches.
Dude.
I thought the new character change with Morrison was great.
I know that we're putting over
Punk was
CM
starting
Punk.
to gain his confidence.
I know we're putting over CM Punk, but dude, ECW John Morrison was built different. I just want to put that out there.
Oh yeah, that was the best. That was the best
He
with
was
John
built
Morrison.
different.
I agree. But man, like during that time with ECW, like I really enjoyed the John Morrison stuff. And then after that, CM Punk did leave ECW during the WWE draft, and I believe he got drafted to Raw.
He did.
To start things off.
He did, and I remember because he was one of like the stars on the rise. He was fucking quick to come up, dude. Like a lot of people forget that is like he was kind of like a small name still kind of when he showed up. Like people like had an idea of who he was from Ring of Honor, you know. It was cool seeing those hardcore wrestling fans going out, you know, going off for him. But he was somebody that also, you know, shot up super fucking quickly. You know, once he got there, he was just somebody who just naturally had it. You know, again, being as super, you know, straight edge as he was, he didn't have those problems a lot of those guys were having back in that time during, you know, the Ruthless Aggression era. And he was also, this is my segue, so I'm going to actually name one of my favorite matches of all time.
Go right ahead.
So this is a good segue because this is actually the year after this happened. So we had just lost Eddie Guerrero, like maybe months prior to fucking CM Punk debuting in ECW. So they were looking for really fast, high-rising talent to take that fucking place. Now, I'm not saying necessarily take Eddie Guerrero's place, but to fill the void with some kind of star power to at least start, you know, pulling up something to get, you know, that void filled, because it was still a massive loss into like the first half of 06. So one of my favorite matches is actually a non-televised match, and it actually took place in the Indies between CM Punk and Eddie Guerrero back in 2003. And it was in like a high school gym.
Yes,
It was in a
I
high
know.
school gym. Yep, that's my
I think
favorite.
they went against. They had one singles match against each other, and then they
That was
also
the
had a
singles
triple
match.
threat match
Yes,
with Rey
that was
Mysterio.
but that was their singles match. And
Yep.
that is one of my favorite matches of all time, because not only was the in-ring incredible, CM Punk was like still very young, so he could move very differently, you know? And then Eddie Guerrero, one of the greats, you know, just coming off of WCW, about to hit WWE, you know, like maybe like a year or two later. You know, we're going back rather, you know.
Well,
later on,
I
because-
was gonna say going back
no.
because he got fired by
Yeah,
WWF
he did.
at the time for
That's right,
drugs,
that's right.
and
Sorry.
then
Yeah.
yep, he
And
found
was
his love for
repaving
pro
his way on
wrestling
the-
by doing indies.
Indies. Yep. So him and Punk were going at it in the Indies, and that is one of my favorite matches of all time for CM Punk in general, because not only have I never seen him move that way, but it was also great to see him and fucking Eddie Guerrero tearing it up, something that I feel like all of us got robbed from seeing on a big, more silver screen. Because,
Imagine the
dude,
storytelling between the two.
dude, both of them on the mic were incredible, and both of them in the ring are legends in their own right. So, dude, Eddie Guerrero and CM Punk is a match that people, if you have not seen it, go on YouTube. It is still on there, and it is actually pretty phenomenal quality. And it's from like 2003 or 2004, or maybe 2002, the earliest. But my God,
like,
dude.
and that's the thing too. If you guys are doing that research, I would go check out that triple threat match with Rey Mysterio, Eddie, and CM Punk, because that was also a really good one too.
Banger. And that's something you'll never see again.
And that was before Rey
So-
Mysterio went back to WWE, and that was like one of his last matches without the mask.
So I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If Eddie Guerrero versus CM Punk was on your bucket list, you're lucky. It's out there. Go watch it.
It is. It's a really good match. But
But I guarantee you didn't know that. You didn't know that one of my favorite matches was one you would never
Yes, I
expect
am
me to
very
pull out of
surprised because usually a lot of the times your favorite things are WWE only,
This was
which
in
is
the Indies.
okay.
Yep, this
But
is
I'm
Indies.
I'm actually happy. I'm happy that you actually went and explored. You went on the
That's what I'm
YouTube.
saying. If we bet money, dude, everybody would have lost. Everybody would have lost.
Yeah,
'cause nobody would have
definitely.
thought.
I think you shocked a lot of people, and I think we're gonna have to tell Ricky this because I think that he'll be very happy to hear you
Get my
actually
culture card,
expanding your
fucking-
horizons.
I'm updating my culture card. Let's go.
So with CM Punk, of course, when he debuted in WWE, one of the big things was the whole straight edge society thing. And man, that's what we need to get into.
That's what
because
that was with.
that's what
Serena
really I
Deeb,
think
right?
that's the being the heel straight edge character that
Bro.
he did back in the day.
That was
that's
the,
what real.
That was the stable with Serena Deeb and Luke Harper, right?
Luke Gallows. Yep.
Luke Gallows. Fuck. Sorry, Luke Gallows. Sorry. Cut you off. I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. Sorry.
Yep. So before that, CM Punk, like he was this baby face. He won the Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 24. Then he did have to vacate it short because due to injury. But then he went back to WrestleMania 25 and he actually won the briefcase. And then eventually we got heel CM Punk. And man, the work that he was doing during this time.
He became the CM Punk that we know. He was starting to find his fucking niche, bro. But I also don't want to discredit his feud with Jeff Hardy. That was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was just going to get into. Like, one of my favorite feuds in WWE with CM Punk has got to be the Jeff Hardy stuff. And some of the things that stand out to me has got to be that one time. I remember as a kid, I was so pissed.
I think I know
Jeff
where you're
Hardy's
going.
music hits.
Oh,
and CM Punk came out with the face paint, with the baggy pants.
That became a meme because that kid was pissed off, bro. The fucking pissed off girl, the CM Punk pissed off girl. She was like, all fucking mugging the camera and shit, dude.
Oh, that was the Miz. That was the Miz.
Oh, that was the Miz.
that
That's
girl.
right. Yeah,
When
that
he
was
won the
Miz, but
WWE title.
Either or. That fucking rivalry was one of the first moments that I ever saw legitimate red watching wrestling, dude. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was just like, are you fucking kidding? Dude, I remember being like, that was what, 09? So I was about 14 years old, dude, and I was fucking, dude, I was letting my TV have it. It didn't even do anything, dog.
But man, that feud was so real and raw because at the time they both were like really cool with each other, but then when they had to start working together, that's where like we really started to see the tensions because obviously with WWE there's politicking involved. Jeff was finally like in the main event picture with the World Heavyweight Championship. He didn't want to drop it to CM Punk. They had a classic at friggin' SummerSlam 2009. That was one of my favorite matches with CM Punk.
Yep.
And then friggin' Jeff Hardy like jumped off the ladder and shit. Man.
That was one of the, like
So
the last
good.
like monumental like high ladder Jeff Hardy spots in WWE, honestly, because like they really toned him down by the end of it. Like even when he came
because
back in like 2018 or something.
that was his last feud with CM Punk. That was his last feud, and then they had the cage match. Loser leaves like WWE. Jeff Hardy
Yep.
lost, and then eventually, first episode of TNA on that Monday, Jeff Hardy was on the asylum.
Yep, and he was completely changed. Like he cut his fucking hair. Like dude actually was going through it though. Like and now like years later, and we're getting the scoop. He was really going through it. Like he gained a bunch of weight. He was doing a bunch of shit he wasn't supposed to be doing. Like
Yeah, and then there was even that viral video at like the diner at like 5 a.m. with Jeff Hardy like calling
come
CM
on.
Punk a nerd and
yeah, he was like he said
Yeah.
fucking he's like your way ain't the way, brother. If it was we living on your planet, I'd rather be on fucking Pluto. I'm like, dude, he is fucking zonked out of his mind. Like
you see, that's like one thing that I was very disappointed about in
I was
AEW
too.
because they both were under contract with them, and I wish that like we got that moment of just them like clearing the air and like just because like it's always cool to see like rivals like years later be able to like just leave it all in the past, which I'm sure they probably have. But like I wish that we had like one more CM Punk versus like Jeff Hardy match.
Is the Hardys on TNA now, or like
They are.
Fucking,
Yep.
they are. Okay, cool. Because I was like, I haven't heard shit about them in fucking.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy's
fuck
been
all.
Jeff Hardy's been really happy. He's been in a really good place.
Good. That's good to hear. And I love that for him. I want that for him, and I just hope that eventually he can come back to WWE. For their last run, sign Legends deals. I think that it'd be fucking sweet as fuck, like 100%. So
I think that's what's gonna happen. Definitely.
I think that's gonna happen too because I'd like to see that. So, but no, in terms of CM Punk, dude, that was one of the greatest feuds of all time. Period. Like in his entire career, both of theirs.
Yeah, and despite like the shitty ending that happened,
Yeah.
well, like they still like had great chemistry in the ring, and they definitely made some memorable moments.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
Especially the promo work with CM Punk during that time too.
Yeah.
That's when I think CM Punk was really like coming out of his shell.
Oh, I agree.
But then, of course, like we do get into Straight Edge Society Punk, where he has like Serena, and he also has Joey Mercury for a little bit.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then even has Luke Gallows. And like one of my favorite like memories from that has got to be the Royal Rumble in 2010. I remember CM Punk drawing like number 1 or 2, and he pretty much like I think like until like maybe like entrant number like 8 or 9, he was like cutting promos about like what's wrong with like the crowd, like they need to be straight edge. And then I remember that was the Rumble that Beth Phoenix was in. And she eliminated the Great Khali, and then CM Punk gave her to GTS. Massive boos. Man, I love the Straight Edge Society, Punk.
Yeah. I and just how almost cultish it was.
It was very cultish. And then he was growing out the hair, the beard, and then the feud with Rey Mysterio. Yep, over the limit. I was just gonna get into that.
Yep.
That
was one of my favorite matches because seeing him freak was fucking hilarious.
And then he wore that mask for a little bit too.
Yeah, and then it fucking I forgot he was like on top of the ladder, and then I forgot who ripped his shit off, and it was Big Show. He ripped his mask off. He was just like, he's freaking the fuck out, bro.
He was always good at being like one of those like weasel heels,
very
like
that,
so
and just
good.
very animated, bro. Like, and that's something like, oh god, I'm excited to get in today's CM Punk work. I'm very excited. I'm stoked.
Me too. I can't wait. But now, of course, we got to get into CM Punk, his highlight year, I think, in pro wrestling, and that is obviously 2011.
Yep.
Because this is around the time where CM Punk, he pretty much became the leader of the new Nexus, which I, at the time, really liked it. I don't know why. I really liked it during the time. And then CM Punk later went on to having his famous Pike Bomb. One of the greatest moments in WWE history, where he pretty much just went in on
I still don't even
everything
know if that was a
for 10
work
minutes
or if
straight.
that was like a fucking shoot. Like, I still don't even know if like he was being dead ass or if like that was just like one of the greatest promos of all time. Like, I don't even know. Like, is that real? Is that as real as the Montreal Screwjob? Like, what's going on?
They really do have to do, like, WWE be doing all these type of documentaries. They need to cover that. They need to.
I think that's going to be obviously
a CM Punk
after.
documentary?
Bro, that's coming after his full-time run's over, and you know that, and that's a while from now. So wait till you're about 40, and then you're gonna get it.
Oh,
you got some
I don't
time
wanna
to
wait
go,
until
bro.
I'm 40. Come on.
Dog.
But let me tell you, though, that was a good documentary on when he returned to WWE. They did, like, a DVD documentary on CM Punk, and, like, he talked about, like, how, like, he can't make a change, like, sitting on his couch at home in Chicago. That was a really good documentary. But in 2011, dude, like, obviously for me, like, my favorite CM Punk match moment all time has got to be Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah.
When he beat John Cena for the championship, they teased that his contract was expired, and then he went into the crowd, blew the kiss. That was one of the coolest moments ever, watching that.
Yeah, and then he didn't show up for a while, and then fucking
Yep.
came back with his title and
four
just raised
weeks.
it up. Yeah, and he raised up his fucking title. He's just like, yeah, no.
Yep, because that's
he never
when
lost it.
they did the tournament for the new WWE
And then
title.
John Cena won it
Cena
anyways.
won. And then we had the title versus title for SummerSlam. Like, CM Punk, like, that's my all-time favorite rival of his, has got to be John Cena. Because
Bias.
John Cena, like, was always my favorite wrestler at
Bias.
the time. But then, when CM Punk had that Pike Bomb and that storyline of him leaving
said
WWE
everything
with the title,
changed.
I was starting to become a CM Punk guy.
He says, he's like, I went from fucking, the time is now to becoming a fucking cult of personality. What the fuck?
I went from eating Fruity Pebbles
To eating straight up Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, dog. Yeah.
Oh man. But I
put some hair on his
I just
chest.
love the chemistry that they both had. So
Phenomenal.
good. And believe it or not too, like during the Pike Bomb, CM Punk, they actually were going to cancel that match at Money in the Bank with John Cena. Like they announced on WWE.com that they fired him, and I guess like from like dirt sheets and stuff, John Cena was the one that told Vince McMahon, like, this needs to happen. Like if you're going to fire him, then like I'm out. So thanks to John Cena, we were able to get that classic.
All hail John Cena.
All hail John Cena. But we also got a tease in 2011 too that I also really liked with Punk and Stone Cold too.
Yeah.
Because I remember for like the longest time, for like a couple years, they were
we already
teasing
got
that.
The Rock and CM Punk, so I mean, fuck.
That was cool.
That was cool as fuck. So I mean, now we're just missing Austin.
Yeah, so then after that time when he came back, he ended up beating Alberto Del Rio at Survivor Series 2011 in Boston to win the WWE Championship. I think he went on to be having a 434-day reign as WWE Champion, and let me tell you, one of my all-time favorite WWE title runs has got to be that 434 days, because CM Punk, like, he was the perfect babyface at the time, but then, like, when things were getting a little stale, Punk knew when to turn heel. And before all of that, one of my favorite matches too that I had here on my list is not WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, because him and Chris Jericho, I love the feud that they had going into that. I think it was 2012.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Because that's when Jericho and Punk, they had the Chicago street fight, and then
I do remember. Okay.
Yep, Jericho freaking spilled the beer on CM Punk, and then he slipped.
Shit was so fucking funny, dude. In his little tight pants and his little boots. That shit was so fucking funny, dude. I remember crying fucking like watching that
was
live.
Great. And then I remember too Jericho trying to have Punk do the straight edge test. And people thought, like, even myself as a kid, I thought that, like, Jericho, like, got CM Punk intoxicated, and I thought Punk was gonna have to, like, strip the title because he failed, like, to walk in a straight line.
Yeah.
That was some really good shit.
Oh, it was.
And then, of course, like, 2012, Raw 1000, I remember that's when CM Punk turned heel. And then he attacked The Rock, so that's, like, really where they began their program. CM Punk became a Ryback guy, or not Ryback guy, a Paul Heyman guy during that time.
You fucking God, that's a stretch, Donnie.
Well, I was gonna say one of my favorite matches during that time in 2012, the Hell in the Cell, when Ryback was when they first brought him up as Ryback.
No,
that was good.
That
was
Ryback.
good shit during that time.
He said that was good shit.
But now the second like time that they had to go against each other, like in 2013 when he was being unsafe, that like I didn't enjoy any of that stuff. But
it'll always be Skip Sheffield.
But yeah, no, the Hell in the Cell match, I did really enjoy that one during Punk's heel run. But yeah, CM Punk, dude, he went on to, like, after his WWE title run, that's like where it seemed like he started to, like, lose his passion for pro wrestling. And that's when he was beat up, worn out, and then he got into the fight with Vince McMahon after the Rumble, didn't show up, and then, yeah, he left wrestling for quite a while.
Yeah, he did. Like, honestly, fuck, I mean, he packed out a whole stadium based on a fucking rumor. So, I mean, like, yeah, dude, like, that's, you lose. Once something has been soiled so bad for you, you lose complete, like, love for it, interest. Like, you don't even want to fucking look at it. But something happens one day, and I don't know what the moment is. It hasn't been talked about. That got him back to the itch of it. But he came back, and he packed out an entire place in Chicago. I think the Allstate.
Yep, the first dance.
Fucking back in 2021. You know, one of the most August that year. Broke the fucking roof of professional wrestling off, and I thought WWE was fucked. I thought they were fucked because I'm just like, dude, even I'm tuning in just to see what the fuck he says. Like, that's nuts to me.
First episode of AEW Rampage, and now Rampage is canceled.
Really? Rampage is done? So now it's just Collision and Dynamite?
It's gonna be, I think, going into the new year.
Okay. But either or, that was... I remember I got emotional because I'm just like, holy fuck, you know, he's actually back. And the first thing, of course, he does is sit in the middle of the fucking ring. And I'm just like, my God, you know, we're back. You know, we're on top. I understand using real life things and feelings into a storyline is one thing, but all they did to him, that entire fucking run, the entire damn thing, within weeks, was just beat the shit out of him on live TV, even verbally. And I'm just like, dude, there is a difference between, you know, making something a work and then just going to work for yourself. And that is exactly what happened with every single person, minus MJF, that he ever came in contact with, and Samoa Joe, because they have history.
That is 1,000% true, because if you do go back like into time,
They
it
just
really
beat the
did
shit out of
start.
him.
Well, and you got to take Darby out of that too, because his first
Darby
match
too.
was with Darby. I know
And it was
Darby
a
didn't bring
banger.
anything up, but I think where it really began was Eddie Kingston. They had the face off. I think they were going against each other at Full Gear, and that's like where it really began. And then after that,
Adam Page is where it broke the back.
well, I was just gonna say we had him and MJF, which I do. This is getting put over, so I do got to put that over.
Yes, put that over.
Still to this day, my favorite AEW rivalry of all time: MJF and CM Punk.
In comparison, that is Drew McIntyre and
Beautiful.
CM Punk's Hell in a Cell match. That fucking
Yes.
strap match and that fucking Hell in a Cell go, like, they dance together with how good those fucking matches and rivalries were. Drew McIntyre and MJF are stars in this dude's
Well, with
research.
MJF and CM Punk, it was dog collar match.
Sorry, dog collar, not strap match. Well, same fucking thing, kind of. But regardless, that goes hand in hand. Like, they
And I think
are
that
the
that's
goats for
really
his
what
second
made.
run.
And I think that's what really took MJF to the next level too. Was
Oh,
working
fuck
with
yeah.
a guy like CM Punk, and he
And his
really like
hero.
held his own
His
against him.
hero.
And that's
Like,
why I like
yeah.
that whole like all out fight, because MJF was going to take the title off of Punk at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so good. But then, of course, he worked with Hangman, and then that one night, Hangman, I don't know if maybe you see it from a different perspective, because I watched that, and I don't see where he went into business for himself.
Bro,
Like, I've never understood that.
he went into business for himself. Like, you can see it in CM Punk's face. You can
Well,
hear
yeah,
it in
I
the
saw that in
crowd.
his face, too.
You can see it also in Adam Page's face. Everything that he was saying, he genuinely felt, and it was out of line. Like, you could tell that was not what a CM Punk was expecting. Like, some things are scripted, man. And from the look on fucking both of their faces, that was real fucking heat. And CM Punk was not fucking pleased, because it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he was genuinely confused by it. Like, he talked about it, you know? He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Then he's talked about it since then.
Yeah, and then pretty much CM Punk, he had a lot of issues with the promotion, the whole all-out media scrum. This is getting put over, so we're not going to talk anything of that. We've already been there, done that so many times on the podcast.
Yeah,
But I will. But I figured, since we are talking about his AEW run, we are putting CM Punk over. So is there anything you do want to put over during his time?
In AEW?
Yes.
So other than the fact that the dude was clearly not in the shape to be back in the ring that quickly and doing the shit that he wanted to do that quickly, it's a very big contrast in just his physique from fucking, AEW to WWE. Like, that time off did him wonders. And then when he got injured, it did it even more wonders, because not only was he able to work on his physical to get himself rehabbed back, but it put him in physically the best shape that he's been in fucking years. And you can see it. He was able to work on his in-ring while having the time off. Like, he's been able to train with a bunch of these guys and get conditioned so he's not going to risk another injury. Bro, this last fucking pay-per-view that we just watched, and I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but literally, dude went almost 40 fucking minutes in that fucking cell, bleeding, legitimately bleeding, him and Drew both, and nobody got injured. Nobody. And he worked his
Drew
fucking heart out.
technically
And
did,
then,
but Punk didn't.
yeah, and he even gave a nod off to that other guy that we were just talking about, that match goes hand in hand with. He did the MJF oxygen spot just for him, and that was just for him. That
was so cool.
So again, when it comes to that, man, I loved everything. Other than the fact that he was winded in a lot of his matches, it was just good to see that life breathed into him for the wrestling atmosphere again. It was great seeing him against a lot of these people I never thought I'd see him against, like Darby Allin, MJF, seeing him, kind of hash things out with Adam Page, getting to see a fucking monumental feud rehash between him and Samoa Joe. Like,
That was
dude,
cool.
that was fucking awesome. So, again, Joe wasn't even supposed to win that. It was supposed to be CM Punk, and he was going to drop it to MJF at the following pay-per-view or something like that originally.
Well, no, not for all in. No.
No, okay, that was the second run, and
Yeah, because what happened was MJF, it was supposed to be all-out media scrum. MJF made his return at the end of the show. They were going to go into full gear, but then CM Punk, he disappeared. He came back when they announced Collision. And then going into that summer for All In, CM Punk had this real world championship, and then he went against Joe, got into the fight with Jack Perry, and then pretty much threatened Tony Khan's life, and then, rest was history.
So, again, I enjoyed everything very much so. You know, like, unpopular opinion, it was just so good to see CM Punk back, and then, again, facing and talking to a lot of these legends again, you know, these different, you know, opponents and new opportunities. So it was just exciting for me as a wrestling fan and a CM Punk fan. But that's all I really got, man.
Yeah, like I feel like with AEW, it was just nostalgia feeling. Like just seeing him come back, it was so surreal, so good.
And also, it's also good to know the other thing I love is that technically he is still a reigning fucking world champion, and he's also made so much clout on AEW's behalf. Mic drop. All right, now we can go. Now we can go.
I knew you had to get that in there somewhere, but you did it. I will say this, though, like with CM Punk, some of my favorite highlights during his run, I love the relationships that he built with the wrestlers during that time, especially FTR. They became really close. They have the same love and passion, and I think CM Punk, he probably found his love for wrestling because of the people that he was close to in AEW, like Darby Allin, Malachi Black, Brody King, who he was really close with, Danhausen, and, of course, FTR as well.
Bret Hart was there for a while, too. Bret Hart, too. And that's somebody he looks up to.
Yeah, so with CM Punk, like, I love the relationships that he built. I also enjoyed, like, the six-man tag match that he had one time. It was CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin versus MJF and FTR. And I remember CM Punk and Darby Allin and Sting, like, all wearing, like, the same, like, different face paint. And it was just a really cool moment because Sting, like, had, like, the CM Punk, like, straight edge fist pretty much, like, face painted on him. And I just thought that was just a really cool moment. Probably something CM Punk has always wanted to do in his life. So that was kind of cool to see. And just, like, having him back in the wrestling business, I was really happy about.
It broke the fucking internet, bro.
But now we're going to really get into what really broke the internet, and that is Survivor Series.
Yes, Survivor Series, but CM Punk is the only person to break the internet twice with debuts in each company because both were very circumstantial, and it's like music to my ears. I remember I was the only one streaming that night. It was just me, and I was soloing it, and CM Punk actually came back, and you guys were watching it on the way home from New York. You were out there
I was at
for
the Nets,
the basketball
Nets
game.
versus Miami. Yep.
Yeah, you were with Sherm, you were with Jordan, I think Cammy maybe.
I'm glad my Nets won.
Yeah.
Made the trip worth it.
Yeah, so look at that.
They were
Nets
pissed.
Won and CM
they
Punk
wanted to
came
watch
back.
Survivor Series.
So look at that. The Nets won and CM Punk came back in the same night. Dude was balling that night. So yeah, dude, I'm fucking hyped. That was
man, Survivor Series 2023.
But the real heat from fucking Seth Rollins was fucking nuts because nobody knew. Nobody, not even Orton actually was, I think, maybe like the only person that knew like 5 minutes before the match. He was like, or like 5 minutes prior, he was just like, Punk's coming back. He was just like, like he didn't know till the day of. But like, I guess obviously not Seth not being told, especially, you know, carrying the whole fucking company for like the last 10 years, basically. It does kind of sting a little bit. So seeing that real heat really did kind of generate
even McIntyre
for
was
their publicity.
pissed. Real life.
Yeah, he like left the arena or something like immediately. He was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like everybody's been working their ass off. So it was real. But since then, I think everybody kind of gets along and respects each other because CM Punk it was never CM Punk, clearly. Because he's fine and everybody's chilling. There's like no real animosity. Even fucking Seth Rollins is willing to work with him. Like, come on. And that dude fucking hates his guts. He was just like, I hate you. Like, so casual.
He called him a cancer in an interview.
I hate you.
But that's the thing, though, about CM Punk, though. Like, this run, like, and it's crazy, like, how much, I don't remember what episode it was, But I remember me saying that, like, CM Punk eventually is going to go back to WWE and he's going to have this redemption story. And I remember, like, Danny, like, went at me for it.
He went at your fucking
but
neck,
then,
bro.
But then you were on Danny's side because it was very unbelievable at the time. Like, as you should.
I didn't get
man,
fucking aggressive with it like Danny did.
Well, yeah, obviously, but like you were siding with Danny a little bit during that time, but like
it's just so hard to believe, you know?
But here's the thing though, like everybody was. And that's the thing, like I've seen it so many times in sports, like seeing like the redemption story, and like I felt like for CM Punk, because I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, his career's dead now, like what he did in AEW, he's fucked. Like, he's going to have no chance in WWE. Like, I remember you saying that stuff back in the day. You were hated Punk during that time.
It was just because it was getting so, and it wasn't even because it was really Punk. It was just how much it was just getting fucking pushed down, like, you know, the fucking IWC's throat and, like, everybody that's just in the community. It's just, I got so sick of talking about it. Like, that's just how it was. You know, it was the consistency of it, not necessarily the taste. You know, it's like my thing with pizza. I don't hate it. How much it fucking happens, and it just the consistency of having it so much, I just can't fucking stand it. And that's what was happening with CM Punk. So it wasn't necessarily CM Punk, it was more of just the consistent situation and like how much we were talking about it.
Yeah, no, I get it. But overall, man, like,
but no, I was on
CM Punk having this redemption arc in his career and just having the time of his life right now. I fucking
it's crazy
love
because, bro, like, he doesn't even have to redeem anymore. It's just like, all right, what's the next feud? Because I'm fucking eagerly waiting. Because, like, dude, I think he's redeemed at this point because he has
more
been
than redeemed.
A massive, not only asset, but apparently backstage, he's pleasant as fuck. He's, like, putting his hand to help wherever he can. And it's what he's wanted since he came back. He didn't have that creative freedom or the freedom to help in the way that he knows how to at AEW like he was sold. So it was kind of false advertisement, but I'm glad that CM Punk has grown up enough and has matured so much to the point where he's like, all right, I'm not going to let this one bad situation, you know, fuck my life up with wrestling again. I'm going to try to see what it's like over here again. And he did.
And that's one thing too, you could definitely tell with his maturity, because not only is he helping out with Shawn Michaels in the Performance Center and NXT, but also, I guess, during the Arn Anderson podcast, because Arn Anderson was backstage with a lot of other legends during Bad Blood. And even Arn said, like, CM Punk, after my match with Drew McIntyre inside the Hell in the Cell, he even came up to me and he asked me, like, what's your thoughts on, like, my match?
Yeah.
Wanted to hear the good, wanted to hear the bad. And the fact that somebody to CM Punk's caliber is asking for that advice still to this day really shows, like, he's matured up a lot and he's grown up.
You know what bothers me? What bothers me heavily is the fact that him and Edge are so similar right now, and they're not in the same company. I hate it. I hate it. I wish that Edge stayed in WWE because they could be not only putting on bangers of their own, but they both want to get in there full time and help where the product is. And I feel like Edge got fucked out of that opportunity because here's CM Punk, who's almost the same age, doing the same fucking shit, you know? And he's doing it full time.
Only
like,
if Edge
he just came back
waited
from
a couple
injury,
years,
still.
man.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, dude,
Punk got lucky with timing.
He did get very lucky with timing, and that's why I'm like, dude, that would have been beautiful to see him and Edge actually, like, not only tearing it up, but also producing matches, helping the talent thrive where they can, getting in there with younger talent to see what they can do that's new for them that the crowd hasn't seen to help up the product. Like, even, again, like, this coincides. CM Punk is asking for advice from legends to improve himself even today. That right there is a big fucking green flag. If anything, that's a fucking billboard.
And right now, currently, according to multiple reports out there from reporters, which there's been plenty of reliable ones that have come out about this, CM Punk has expressed interest in, like, renegotiating his WWE contract because he wants to be a WWE for life guy. And I guess now there's reports that WWE is actually working with CM Punk right now, currently on a new deal.
Yeah.
Which that is great news.
Who would have thought, bro? Like, hell froze over that November night. Hell froze over, legitimately. Like, nobody thought that it was going to be this deep. You know that CM Punk is also going to sign a Legends deal when his full-time run is done. You know that for a fact. Him
And
and
I think he's going to be helping out
with
with the. I think he's going to be helping out the next generation. He's very passionate about what he does
Shawn
in
Michaels
NXT.
said he would pass the fucking NXT torch to CM Punk. Out of all people, he said CM Punk. And I'm like, dude, honestly, that would be incredible, stellar product because CM Punk is also one of the greatest minds alongside Triple H. 100%. They would make greatness. The next generation is looking very bright.
And let me tell you this, Ben. My favorite thing overall about CM Punk being back in WWE has got to be him fixing his relationship with Triple H. And just seeing these two like coexist and really like benefit from working with each other has been incredible. Like I love seeing like the pictures of them and like even like the videos. Like they're laughing and just having a good time. And then overall, like, even seeing CM Punk and Stephanie McMahon hug after his match at SummerSlam, that was a really cool moment because you knew, like, there was a lot of heat there as well. Because I remember that episode of Monday Night Raw when CM Punk wasn't there. This is like 2 years after he left. CM Punk.
Yeah,
and Stephanie McMahon was like, well, he doesn't want to be here. Like, she pretty much, like, went and, like, she shoot CM Punk during that. So,
I remember.
See them, like, just seeing CM Punk, like build, like, fences with, like, The Miz and Randy and John Cena and all these guys. I'm just generally so happy for him because you could tell that he's in such a good place.
And Drew McIntyre was just the start. We still got to revisit Seth Rollins. We still got a whole 2 rosters to go through, and dude's going to be here till he's 90. So he's got a bit to go through, bro.
Absolutely. And CM Punk is obviously one of the best in the world. First-class Hall of Famer. And
every Hall of Fame.
And it just feels right to just put him over. Yes. And I might as well even like to end this, talk about my meet and greet experience with him because in the summertime, New York City, Fanatic Fest, I got the opportunity to meet the best in the world, CM Punk, and I was very nervous. And remind you, I've met over thousands of wrestlers. Some of those big names include Sting, Undertaker.
I'm tagging myself in. I understand that some superstars have the auras of gods, so don't be ashamed.
And CM Punk, for me, out of all the people I've ever met, I was the most nervous.
I think that him and John Cena would be up there for you. I can only imagine.
Oh, definitely, for sure, John Cena. But with CM Punk, I was fucking nervous because a lot of people, they have talked about, like, CM Punk. He's not really, like, a people person, like, on his like, off time. And a lot of people have had bad experiences with him. But man, let me tell you, I had one of the best experiences with him. Like, we weren't allowed to, like, interact for such a long time because, obviously, like, there was a very short time, like, period where, like, Punk, he had to sign, and then we go right to the photo ops, snap. And let me just say, like, I even, like, told CM Punk, like, I appreciate everything, like, you've done for this business, and I appreciate everything you stand for, and he stopped signing my item, fist pumped me and said, I appreciate you and thank you for being a loyal fan.
Yeah, man.
And then I was one of the last people to get a pro photo op with him, and he's like, hey, it's you again. And pretty much talked to me for probably about like 3 minutes. And
good shit.
Man, one of the best meet and greet experiences I've ever had. So it was an honor meeting CM Punk, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Such a nice guy. And they say, like, don't meet your heroes. That's a load of shit. Fuck you.
Take the chance. Always take the chance. Even if it's a bad experience, at least you did it and you found out. And at the end of the day, whenever you meet your heroes and it's a good experience, man, that will always outweigh any bad experience.
And the last thing I want to say before we close off this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast is, if there was anybody that deserved their flowers, that deserved to be in the We Are Wrestling Museum, that deserves that statue, it's gotta be CM Punk, man. Because on the We Are Wrestling podcast, especially when, like, the wrestling media were trying to twist things and just really, like, change the narrative, like, a negative narrative on CM Punk, like, he has really redeemed himself through this time, and I really do wish CM Punk nothing but the absolute best in the ring and especially outside the ring. And I'm just glad that he's living his best life right now, and I hope that we get one more John Cena match. I hope that we get one more friggin' World Championship run. I want him to get that main event match at WrestleMania because he fucking deserves it.
So I'm going to say this right now, bud.
Best in the world, baby.
I'm going to say this right now. If it's not Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at this year's WrestleMania, it's going to be CM Punk versus John Cena. You already know for a fucking fact. It will be WrestleMania 41. 100%.
Take my money.
I'm going to tell you this right now. You have inspired a new thing, and we've been doing this long enough. I think that it's time that WrestleMania season we officially host a We Are Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I like the idea.
So I think that CM Punk is probably going to be among the list of the first inductees. And I already have a kind of a couple others that I've been thinking about that I'll toss around with you off camera. But
the We Are Wrestling Hall of Fame. Woo!
Yeah, dude.
Woo!
And I think CM Punk should be the first one. 100%. Just based on this whole fucking discussion, CM Punk should be the first induction. 100%. First fucking induction.
Definitely. But anything else you want to say about CM Punk before we close off this week's episode?
What a story. That's it. What a story.
Exactly, man. One of the craziest stories in all of professional wrestling. Easily best in the world. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, we do want to put the reminder out that we have a lot of IRL things coming up because next week, the We Are Wrestling podcast, we are going to be airing it on Halloween because we're going to be recording it probably Wednesday. And yeah, we'll be doing that. So if you guys are wondering like what's going to happen with the next episode, it won't be coming out on Friday because myself and Casual Cam are going to Rhode Island Comic-Con. Ben will be doing a live watch-along for WWE Crown Jewel that Saturday. I'm sure we'll have predictions very early next week. And then the week after, my birthday weekend, I'm going to be at Big Event New York. And then the week after that, we have the Wrestling Classic. We're bringing in Little Guido. So if you guys want to come out and hang out with us, we will be at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. Also, we have friggin' new We Are Wrestling swag. We Are Wrestling merch on Pro Wrestling Tees. Can't believe that we're actually on there. One of the biggest friggin' wrestling merchandise websites in the entire world besides WWE. So awesome that we're there. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the things we talked about this week, including your favorite CM Punk moments. We would love to hear it. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode, and give us a follow. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content, we got lots of vlogs coming out, we got predictions, we got live watch-alongs happening. Oh man, recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. You even get the video version of the podcast for free. No paywall. Links down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other adventures that we're doing. Ben, he'll be doing live streams on Twitch. Myself, I'm doing Toy Channel. I have a Toy Channel, so you guys can check all that out. Links down below. And to all the maniacs out there worldwide, what an episode we had this week. And of course, you already know, we are taking over. Peace.
Yeet.